Freezy will be here soon. Despite Austin Rivers' first half heroics with 25 points, the game was a tale of two halves, and we only scored 13 points in the fourth quarter, and we lost our third straight, 108-94 to the Jazz. Randall had 18 points, 10 rebounds. RJ had 17 points, but Quick couldn't buy a hoop tonight. Our defense was terrible, giving up way too many uncontested threes. We'll go over the game. We'll recap the players' performance with the video panel and live chat. How are you, Day? You're muted. Freezy, I think we got a problem.
Hey, what's up, boss?
Hey, how are you? Day didn't. I think Day. I heard this like a vacuum sound when I first got on, and then that went away, and then Day. I couldn't hear anything on Day.
Here he is. Here he is. So, man, I'm so frustrated. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. Day still. Do you have anything on your side, Freezy? You see potentially muting our boy?
Everything all right?
I can't hear Day. Day's trying. He's muted.
I don't have him muted.
All right.
You just having a sound issue? Yeah.
Sorry, folks.
Hey, so how's your day going, man?
All right. Aggravated that we led through three quarters, as you saw, and then we just went cold. It looked like the four game West Coast stint took its toll on us. We looked exhausted in that fourth quarter. We talked about the Knicks sustaining what they did prior to this game, the last couple of games, if they could sustain it for the rest of the year. And I gave a statistic that we're fourth in the league in giving the most uncontested threes in the league. And where guys are like over 10 feet from the player, and that killed us tonight in the fourth quarter. It's too many uncontested threes.
How about now?
Yeah, I got my boy back. Biz Bones
There we
in the
go.
house. How are you?
Here we go. I'm good, guys. That was a good summarization at the beginning there, Mr. Fox.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I hate this West Coast thing because I'm typing like crazy right before we go on the air. I love us the East Coast games because I can finish up, meditate before I go on the air. This is like printing, doing all these things at the last second, getting on StreamYard, and anytime you deal with StreamYard, it's Hail Mary full of grace that things are going to work. So, but it was aggravating. Quick didn't have a game tonight, unfortunately. No. But also, again with Tibbs, the game was pretty much out of reach with 4 minutes. Why didn't you just let the kids just play out the rest of the game?
Right. Let's see. I knew that first half wasn't predicated on great Knick defense for Utah shooting so bad because they had so many open threes, and they were just missing them. Keep in mind, Utah is third in the league in attempts, 3-point attempts per game, and first in the league in 3-point percentage. So I knew they were going to pick it up.
Exactly.
And they did in the second half.
In the first half, they shot 22% from three, the Jazz, and we shot 50% from three.
Right.
Yeah. So we, I don't know what it is with Rivers in Utah, but last time he did it in the fourth quarter. This time he did it in the first half. 25 points.
What it is with Rivers.
I'm hearing.
No, so it's done. Don't worry.
No. Okay, cool. I didn't know if somebody else was coming in. I'm like, oh no, not again. But let me look at my handwritten notes, old school.
62-35 in the second half, Steven.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy, man.
And do we count Theo Pistons runner at the end?
Rivers, 25 points, 10 for 10, 5 for 5 in 12 minutes in the first half.
Now, I have a question for you. Do you bring in Rivers earlier in that third, considering the fact that Burks did shoot 3 of 14 tonight?
Yes. He did it with Burks the last game. Burks was on fire. He took him out. I call Tibbs, one of my nicknames for him is the Cooler. And it's like, let this guy, let this guy come on. Rivers is hot as hell. He didn't bring him. He let him basically sit a quarter, and then he had nothing left.
Now I
So
understand why he pulled them because it was his third foul. I get it. But he took, and I agree with you. I think he took way too long in putting him back in the game. He didn't put him back until like 2 minutes left back in that third quarter.
Exactly.
And we lost, and we practically lost the lead at that point as well.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin. Kevin, is that you?
It is
That was-
making you man.
Yeah,
Sounds
I'm
like-
hearing. I'm hearing some stuff in the background besides you.
He sounds like he's in the
driving.
aquarium. Oh, okay.
You're driving.
Yes.
Okay.
I put it on mute when I'm not talking.
No, that's fine, but just be safe.
Oh yes. Trust me, I'm in Durham, North Carolina at 11:54 at night. I can tell you, there's nobody else on the road.
Okay. So no speeding. Just drive, and you're going home.
I'm actually going to work.
Oh, all right. I didn't know. I knew it was one or the other, so I had a 50% chance of being right. So, hey, fellas, let me just do some business quickly.
ahead.
Because, like I said, we only had a second before we got on the air. I just wanted to say hi to the chat. Hi, family. I'm sorry we didn't win tonight, but we'll looking for your feedback, your thoughts on the game. Yakin Hygar, paging Kevin Knox. God, the darn broadcast is not even a few minutes old, and you're already starting in on that. Emmanuel Brickley, how are you? 47 Buds. Jonathan JD, shout out to you. Hope all is well. You were wonderful. I saw later today the replay of last night. You're happening. Great job. Let's see. Zach coaches Des. Zach, as always, how are you? Pseudonym Skype. Jonathan JD said Bradley Beal rumors are flying after he was seeing frustrated like hell after the game. Hopefully they'll give him away for a song and we can get him. Hey, Kevin Wright said he's running late, Steve. Okay, I just got it. Maverick 2190. Let's see. Cuatro Cinco. Everyone, we'll go over game. Look at the stats of the game. Everyone but Rivers shot like yeah, exactly.
Oh, and Barrett shot well. Don't forget about Barrett.
Barrett did. Just looking at Barrett's stats, 7 for 11, like you said, 3 for 3 from 3.
Yep.
He misses 2, but he had 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal,
Yep.
17 points. He had only 1 turnover. He was -7 for the night.
I want to get into Barrett in a second,
Beautiful.
but let's go over some more important things.
Just hold on one last second.
No, of course.
Yeah, just thank you, PBD. Thank you, chat. And one last thing, just please remember to hit those like, subscribe, remind the bells so you don't miss out on any Knicks at Night and Knicks Morning Drive broadcast. The Morning Drive broadcast was fire this morning as usual. And please share this link on your favorite social media platforms so we can grow the Blarens Tears family. And thanks again for getting us over 1,290 subscribers. 1,500 here we come. We greatly appreciate it. And also, as always, a great shout out to the best mods in the land, Sima Singh, Bodega Wi-Fi, and the new Knicks. We appreciate all you do. Day, that's now we could rock and roll. Thank you for got some business out of the way. We'll come back to our family. So, what were you going to say about RJ?
I want to get into him. I want to get into him in a bit, but let's highlight some more important things. Fourth quarter, 13 points. Is what we scored.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And what we saw was nobody moving, completely stagnant offense, lack of ball movement, very predictable. Okay, ISO players going ISO that can't really ISO. I don't think Julius can ISO like that.
No.
I've never been.
And
Don't
that's
let people hear you say that. You're gonna be
it's regressing.
Yeah, it's regressing. It's the offense is just too stagnant.
Yeah.
15 assists tonight.
Yeah. Which is brutal. I mean, folks, 22 assists. I think we average 22 a day.
I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
Average.
or are we either 22 or we're 22nd in the league?
We're 23rd. We're 25th of the league in assists to field goal made, right?
Yeah,
And we're 30th. We're last in the league at 21.5.
yeah, I knew we were around that 22 number, man. 15 assists is brutal, ladies and gentlemen. If there's any ladies who listening to us, 12 turnovers is not meaning that's not the worst thing that we've ever seen. Again,
Yeah.
we had 7 fast break points. Uh, just our largest lead was 15, and the
Yeah.
Jazz's largest lead came back was 17.
Yeah.
But we couldn't. Gobert went off. We couldn't do anything with him. He was, intimidating in there.
Yep.
His stat line was 18 points, 19 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 blocks, plus 27.
Yeah.
Somebody, there was a lot of noise in the background.
Sorry, that's me. I'm sorry. I'm putting it on mute.
Oh, okay, beautiful.
What's up, y'all?
What's up?
Zach, that's you? Okay.
Mhm.
I got these old eyes. I couldn't see that.
Sorry, man. I'm on break at work, and y'all know my work's confidential, so I can't show anything.
Nah, absolutely respect that. How are you? How's everyone?
I'm freaking shocked because my first break, they lost. Last time I checked, we was up 17, 15. So I'm like, what happened?
I think you jinxed him. That's it. That's the excuse we're going to give tonight, Dave. It was Zach's fault. Zach,
Well, guys,
I knew.
Can you tell my work
Zach.
that so I can get off paid every time you
Hey, Zach, you know who killed us tonight? Conley came back. He got hot.
Lord.
He got hot, and we had no, our point guard.
Royce O'Neal murdered us tonight as well.
Yeah. Oh my God, he got hot, and then he was making rebounds. And, he was only 6'4", that dude. So when
How'd
I
our
see,
guys do? How'd RJ, Randall, Knox? How'd everybody?
yeah, so
I saw
RJ,
Rivers was on fire last I was watching.
he scored
Yeah.
25 points in the first half and 0 in the second half.
Yep.
Hey,
That's Austin Rivers
the
like.
only person that can stop Austin Rivers is Tom Thibodeau.
Thank you. That was
Or
poetic.
Austin Rivers because he's.
Can I say something right quick?
He
Please.
killed him tonight.
Okay, so this is a little off topic.
Hey, can you hold what your thought is for 1 second, ladies and gentlemen? We have an alert that just came in. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Kevin Wright's birthday. They just changed to 12:01. It's official. It's
Happy
officially
birthday, Kevin.
happy
Hey,
and
happy
unison.
birthday.
Happy birthday
Oh,
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kevin.
KFW.
Happy birthday to you. Hey, that's my
Shout,
boy.
shout, Kevin
Everybody gets crazy on my boy. Leave my boy alone. Happy birthday, Kevin.
Happy birthday
Thank
to
you
the
all.
Cavs.
Thank you, Knicks
Happy birthday,
family.
bro.
All right, now that I interrupted you, what were you going to say?
I was
Now
gonna
that
say
we
it's my
scared the
birthday.
hell out of everybody.
Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, see, your brother's looking out after you. I had a big sign up saying all day, make sure whether on the air or back channel, say
old
happy birthday to my boy.
I just turned 35.
Wow.
Lord, you old man.
Breezy, that's like 4,000 Kyle Lowry years.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm telling you. I don't know who's aging faster, me or Kyle Lowry.
I don't know. Nah,
Definitely Kyle Lowry if you talk to Knicks fans.
Hey, happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, man.
I'm just sorry that we're in these times that you can't really spend a lot with your family and stuff like that. So hopefully you're spending it with your extended family, your Knicks at Night family, and I should have brought some cakes so we had a virtual. You can blow out the
A
candle or
virtual
something.
cake.
Yeah. I think virtual cakes would be good for my waistline because the real ones are killing me.
Oh,
I think I have plenty of that later on today.
so
Yeah.
Steven, are we starting the petition to get you at the starting point guard spot? That's what I want to know.
Man,
We need you.
I'm telling you, man.
'Cause what's your career average? Like 58 and 23?
Oh, must have told you off the air that. Yeah, no, it's actually 57 and 29. But besides,
Oh, that was okay. That was your prime.
But who's counting, right? Yeah. but who's counting?
Yeah, but Peyton,
Disaster.
4 points tonight, 2 assists, and that doesn't even illustrate in 21 minutes how bad he was. And Quick was no better.
No.
1 for 11. he could not hit a shot from 3 feet tonight. The kid, and that's surprising. Usually, maybe he'd be off from the, but he'd have his game from the inside. He did shoot 4 for 4 from the foul line, so at least that. But he had 23 minutes, 6 points, 1 from 11 for the three, from 1 from 11 from the field for quick, 4
Yeah.
rebounds, 1 assist, but it was absolutely not his game.
And we know
Rookie
this is going to
growing
happen
pains,
to him.
man.
Yeah, we know it's going to happen to him. He's going to have
Growing
his ups and
pains.
Yeah.
downs.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it was him, and I don't think it was great defense on him that was causing it.
No, he had some decent shots.
Yeah,
Let's
Absolutely.
remember about Austin Rivers. He'll always be a streaky scorer at best.
you're
So,
right. He
yeah.
did it in the bubble, and he goes off like that, and
Then he
but
disappears.
then he disappears, and we lucked out last time that he did it in the fourth quarter to bring us back, but this time he did it in the first half and gave him enough room to come back and kill us.
I think the
So-
disrespect of R.J. Barrett is a real thing. And I'm going to say why. Played
How'd
40
he do
minutes
tonight?
He played 40 minutes tonight. Shot an efficient 7 of 11. Shot 3 of 3 from 3.
And looked
Had 4
smooth.
rebounds, 4 assists, only 1
All right.
turnover. And he could not get a damn touch.
All right, so
In that second half.
since we lost, put him in the G League, right? Isn't that what people are going to say?
I don't think so,
No,
but
no.
he, like Dave was saying, he should have had a lot more. I don't know what's going on. Yesterday, the last game, he only had 1 shot in the first half. I think
Mhm.
for the whole game, he only had
9 shots. He shot
9
4 of 9.
shots.
Guy. Yeah.
And now tonight he has 11 shots. So
Mhm.
we need him to shoot, 15, 16 shots, man.
And
at
then
a
in the
minimum.
And then in the fourth quarter, Julius Randle is going ahead and dribble handoffing to death Alec Burke. And RJ is just on the opposite side of the court, whether the wing or corner, and he's just watching the action.
Hey, Day, I didn't know if you noticed this. Randall came up the court. RJ was streaking untouched under the, he could have had a easy dunk or whatever. Randall looked him off.
Yeah.
And then pass it to him like, come on, Randall,
I
don't
think
go
that-
back to last year because I was fooling around with Kevin, and I don't know if it was on air or off air, but we were saying that was the old Julius.
Yeah. I think the disrespect is real. I think this is a real topic. I think this is a real thing.
Yeah, hey, he's the kid is special, man. Like we talked about, even in his shooting woes, he'll put up 18 points. So he has, and the one, this is the question also I'd like to ask.
Mhm.
Everybody knows, and Clyde keeps bringing this up where he's scratching his head that why isn't the league taking away his left hand?
Right?
Going left, and they're not. It's the second year, second go around with the league. They know his tendencies
Right.
and everything, and he still does
Right.
that, and he's still being successful with it. And I'm glad. But like
And
you
you
said,
And you know what, Steven? You know why? Because he has very broad shoulders. He's very physical. He's a very strong guy, and it's very hard to bump him off his left hand. That's why.
Yeah, and I thought he was going to have a bigger night because I know Donovan is all world, but he's only 6'3", and Conley's little at 6'1", so I thought him playing the 2 tonight would be a mismatch for him if they fed him right.
And here's the killer. RJ was doing a great job of getting into the paint and making good decisions, too, as far as shot creation and getting other guys involved.
Yeah, he had
Don't
like
understand
3
why.
assists in the first quarter.
Can't understand why the ball is not moving through him more.
Yeah, and it would help this offense so much because we're just, a one-trick pony, kick it into Randall, and we go from there. And if they don't collapse, he shoots, and if they do collapse, he takes an extra 3 seconds off the clock before he kicks it out. Yeah, let RJ. But you're right. Getting back to what you said, Day, he is. They should be. They should be saying more positive things about him, especially now that his shots come. He worked through that. He wasn't like some of the other players that moped or,
Right.
he let it roll off his back and he just kept doing it. But
Right.
again, what Freezy said, Tibbs got to pull him to the side, Johnny Bryan or whomever, and say, hey, we need you to shoot more for us to win. 11 shots is not going to do it for us. We're already hampered as a team offensively. If you don't put up more shots, that's putting us. You're virtually making us unable to win.
I don't think that's totally on him, Steven. I see him get phased out a lot.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I missed the last few minutes. I had to catch back up.
Yeah. No worries.
I'm here.
Okay. Cool.
So here's another thing too. See, this is the problem with the Knicks offensively as well, is that since they don't create turnovers and get up and down the floor,
One of the worst in the league.
correct. To just to get to the nitty gritty of it, fast break points, they're 30th in the league, right?
Exactly.
And in creating turnovers, they're in
We're
the middle of the pack, and getting steals, they're
one of the
26
worst. Yep.
in steals per game.
Yeah.
So they're not getting up and down the floor. And now on top of that, they're not a very good half court team because they don't have explosive players that can get inside, that could break down the defense. They don't move the ball. They're very predictable. And this is going to be an ongoing problem throughout the season.
Yeah. Our
Can
brother
I say officially that I was right that Tom Thibodeau needs to hire someone who specifically about this offense? I mean, I know it's too late in the season now, it has to be something next year, but he's just not doing anything offensively. Like, they have no offensive identity whatsoever. It's just, as Steve says, is give the ball to Randall. If it doesn't work, give the ball back to Randall. If that doesn't work, let's give the ball back to Randall. But we've proven that Randall is not, I believe this, Randall is not what we thought he was. Like the first 10 or so games, he's not that person. I don't think that that level of play for him is sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is that he's not a number one option.
Yes.
I was reading an article earlier today about, Julius Randle's trade value. And it was like, well, what if he went to a contending team? He probably wouldn't even be a starter on most contending teams. They probably have him in a role he was with New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
And he is supposedly our best player. So what does that say about us?
Yeah.
I see that.
And as far as RJ getting like more shots, like we might want to see that. But the thing we were clamoring for him to do, like 10 games ago, was be efficient with the shots he gets. Because you remember what the games he took, like 15 shots, he wasn't efficient. So now at least he's being efficient, with his shots. So build off of that and keep going.
Yeah. Hey, our brother Sima Singh said that Tibbs wanted to get Burks going in the second half, so they left RJ out. And but he also said that but everyone complains when RJ takes the most shots on the team. But and he finished up by saying, and again, Sima, we agree with your insight. The point guard position is killing us.
I personally don't mind RJ shooting a lot. I'd rather him be aggressive than not be aggressive.
Also, because of his style, he'll get to the line a lot.
Just be aggressive within the offense, though. Don't try to force too much, because when he tries to force too much, is when he becomes inefficient.
Yeah. Hey, Zach, how much time do you have? Because I'd like to give you, if there's anything on your mind, I'd like to take advantage of you while you're on the air.
I'm about to go back, but happy birthday,
all right, I was
Kevin.
just being respectful for you.
No problem. Everybody have a good night. If I can come back on later, I'll jump on if you guys are still on, all right?
Okay.
All right, Zach.
Take care. Be safe.
Take care, bro.
So, if the Quattro Cinco said if the Knicks end up going down flames, no playoff needs to trade for no need to trade Randall. So yeah, I am so happy this West Coast thing is over for so many reasons and so many selfish reasons. Like I opened up with that when we have a game at 7:30 East Coast time.
Got a lot of noise in the background, Kev.
Yeah. Okay. So
17 offensive rebounds we gave up tonight, Steven.
Yeah. I was looking at that, and we talked about it the other night. Mitch is leading the league in total number of offensive rebounds, and Randall, I think, on the defensive side. But I was hoping that Randall would start picking up on the offensive side. But we had 9 offensive rebounds tonight, 35 defensive, and versus our offensive, they had 17. So those second chance points all night. He is so big. His wingspan that he knocks the balls out. Even if he doesn't get the rebound, he keeps it in play. He's really, I would never, if I was an owner, give the contract to him, but you could see his worth,
It's his plus minus. It's such a giant impact, especially defensively too. where
27 is crazy. A plus 27 tonight. Him and Conley actually.
yeah, and you know what? I was going to bring that up, Steven, and I was going to say, look at the plus minuses of our starters, and look at the plus minuses of their starters. That's how I was going to word it.
So let's
And
do it, folks. The starting lineup for my boy Day: Randall was a negative 14. Robinson was a negative 15. Peyton was a negative 7. Burks was a negative 5. Barrett was a negative 7. Obi, I wish he had a few minutes. He looked like he was getting his rhythm.
he was actually moving.
Yeah, I know.
He hit a shot. He had a deep two off the dribble, and he penetrated, spun off, went right hand hook, looked nice, and that was it for Obi.
Nice. And that was it for Obi. Knox unfortunately had no points tonight. 1 rebound. He only took 1 shot. He only had 7 minutes. But I did write in my notes. Where's the old Fox's notes?
In 7 minutes, he was a negative 7.
In 7 minutes, he was a yeah, that's frightening. But I also said that where is it? Let me. Knox, he went down. He got blocked by instead of trying to jam it, he went up for like a reverse layup that got blocked. Tibbs took him out immediately.
Yeah,
took him out. That was my first notes that Knox. And then at the end of the game, he put the ball on the floor and the ball got away from him. And I think that's all the stuff that unfortunately that my brother Kevin has to put up with. That where people are like, come on, man, let's see some other parts to your game. And
right.
But I don't want to get into that tonight. I think I think my brother's had an overdose over the last 24 to 48 hours. So it's his birthday, and I want everyone to be nice to Mr. Kevin Wright in the chat and everywhere else. Be nice to my brother.
We've drowned Kevin Knox already. He's
exactly
already in the water.
So Noel was a +1. And again, I know a lot of people knock on him, but he had 4 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 1 assist, and if you use him correctly, he's effective.
And in the end of the first quarter and in the second quarter, he had very good defensive minutes.
Yeah, and he had a few series that were like, whoa, nice play. So so Rivers,
negative
like
13.
Negative 13. He had this heroic first half and 10 for 10, and he ended up 10 for 14 for the game, and he was.
And then Tom cooled him down.
And Tom cooled him down. I won't talk about Pinson because I refuse to do shit like that. But
there you go.
Quickly was 6 points, 23 minutes, 1 for 11 from field goal, 0 for 4 from 3. Yeah. Obviously, as always, he hit 4 for 4 from the line. He had 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 turnovers. It was not his night, folks. And I don't know if Conley or somebody has his... because he just doesn't seem to really be able to play well so far against the Jazz. But the good news, folks, that's it for us with the Jazz this year. We won 1, they won 1.
Yeah. And then we look at Rudy, plus 27. Mike, like you said, plus 27. Joe Ingles, plus 11. Clarkson, plus 10. Derek Favors was the only guy that played substantial minutes that had a double-digit negative. George
and he
Niang
wasn't
had
even
14.
supposed to play. There was a question. He was questionable too. Favors whether he was going to play tonight. Right. But we did luck out. Clarkson's usually a Knicks killer, and he was a plus 10, but he had 13 tonight. Usually he puts up much.
And check this out, Steven. Here's the worst part.
Good question. Right? Is the noise around me better?
Yes.
Yeah, you seem clear now.
Okay.
So as I was saying, here's the worst part, Steven. Donovan Mitchell was only 3 of 15 tonight.
I know.
Jordan Clarkson was only 5 of 16.
So God bless you. If you could get away, folks, with Donovan Mitchell, one of the elite players, having 9 points on the night, and you still get blown out, that's a problem.
And so, that's a giant problem.
Yeah. But we said it a few days ago, Day, that we lucked out at the beginning of the season that our defensive numbers were misleading, that we're giving up too many uncontested, and even though we played teams that were good shooters, we lucked out that they had a bad game.
We saw it tonight. How many open threes did we give up?
Yeah, but they're getting into their rhythm as the season now, so we're a quarter in, and those days are going to be far fewer, and we're going, and the real defense is going to, the real team and the talent of this team. But the rotations and stuff like that, there was a couple fouls. How many fouls did Knox have? Or just that one foul looked brutal? He had one personal foul, but his fouls get you aggravated because it was like he was so out of position and everything, and the guy was an and one on him, and it was
Right.
like, oh man,
Right. Right.
but he couldn't get into any rhythm. And this guy George Niang,
Yep.
wow, he
Hit a
shot
couple
3 for
threes.
6, but yeah,
Hmm.
I knew he could shoot, but wow, so oh man,
Well, the shots are available.
the shots were available, and we don't play to Friday now. And so we'll come home, they'll see their families, or some of them will see their families. They'll have their own pillow and their own bed, maybe get some sleep. You know what I wanted to find out tonight, but I couldn't, if they had a practice today. Because I'm like saying, is Tibbs running
Yeah,
these
they did.
guys? They did?
Yeah, on the New York Knicks Twitter will put out like clips and images of like the days. If you check it out, like the actual official New York Knicks Twitter, they'll um they'll put out clips of the practices and the scrimmages and everything. So that's how you know that they practice that day if they put out the videos and pictures of them doing it. Because it was so funny. I hate to get on Knox, but it's so. Well, I said this yesterday. I'm like, why do they always have pictures of Theo Pinson? I'm like, why is like literally they always show like Theo Pinson, but he's never like practicing. He's just like doing something, and it's
That's Rose's boy.
like why are they just read this random picture of Theo Pinson at
Yeah.
practice?
Hey Kevin, can you lower your mic volume a little? It's kind of loud. Day, you find the same?
Yes.
That yeah. So
Is this
if you
better?
could you talk into your mic to just make sure?
Is this better? It's probably
I
because it's
could.
really close to my mouth.
All right, if you could load even a little more,
I mean, is this better?
we'll find out. Or
Yeah.
just let that velvet voice talk soft tonight.
I'll do that.
Hey, Sima Singh, be nice. It's Kevin's birthday. He said when Knox grabbed that one rebound, I guaranteed he was not going to get another rebound. And we hate that you're right tonight, but I think you could say that about a lot of guys on the Knicks team though tonight. It wasn't a Knox thing; it was a Knicks thing. But getting back to what I was saying, I noticed Peyton at the beginning of the game. I'm like, God, his legs look lead-like. They look really heavy tonight. And then I saw RJ, and I'm like, God, they didn't play last night. They look. I know they're away from home, and it's the last game of a fourth thing. But I'm like, I hope Tibbs didn't run these guys this
That's
morning.
Tom's reputation.
And that's Tom's reputation exactly. And I'm like, God, if I find out that he did, it's like this old school stuff, man. These guys look like, and again, the minutes that they've been putting up this year, I'm like, they look, that they had lead in their boots tonight.
So another thing from Nick's Twitter earlier today is I've noticed that Austin Rivers seems to be our most candid player. Austin Rivers came out and said, "Yeah, we're tired." He point blank said, "We're tired," and it's like, well, Tom Thibodeau, you literally have your players coming on media saying they're tired, but you know what? He's still going to get them out there 35 minutes a game because that's what they did in the 90s. Tom Thibodeau doesn't know what tired means.
Well, if he keeps doing that, he'll know that Johnny Bryant's the new head coach of the Knicks. Because if we go into a bad spiral and people start talking that his old ways of doing stuff, that Bobby Knight stuff is yesterday's type of coaching, that type of thing, and
That's a
It's
dinosaur's
amazing.
age.
It's just amazing how you listen to Tom Thibodeau like last season when he was without a job, looking for a job and everything. He was going from team to team later, and he was like, "Oh, I learned so much about the modernization of the game, and this really helped me crystallize things and help me move forward as a better coach. And there's different ways you can play players and everything." Da
Talk
da
is
da
cheap,
da.
Kevin.
what
And
do
it's
they
like
say about
with Tom
old
Thibodeau,
dogs?
Can't
I'm
teach
telling
the
you,
new
because
tricks.
it's like was that just? I hate to say he's almost as good of a salesman as David Fisdale, but
No, come on. You don't compare the two. Don't do that, please.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it seems like sometimes it's a lot of spin from Thibodeau.
Oh no,
Because he might say some things, but in his actions,
every game we've been talking
That's
us
half the
just
league, Kevin.
us chatting about the fast break points, and yet he stood up the Tibbs and saying, we want to use the youth and athleticism on this team I don't see that.
No, not at all.
Like you were saying, we're last in the league in fast break points and stuff like that.
Yeah. And,
So-
and an indication of that is Obi Toppin is our most athletic guy on this team, and he just floats around the perimeter.
Yeah.
Float. No backdoor cutting, no pick and rolling, nada, nothing.
And he has to be it has to have Quickly on the court, because Quickly's the only one that'll be looking for him to maybe catch the guy turning his back on him and running baseline for a lob or something, because Peyton won't look for him. No. But he's usually not on the floor with Peyton anyway. But like you said,
Did anyone? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry.
No, please, no.
I was going to say, did anyone else find it to be interesting that Emmanuel Quickly had 6 straight possessions where he didn't pass the ball at all?
I noticed that tonight. I have it down on my notes. I said Quickly did not initiate the offense tonight at all.
Like, he had 6 straight possessions, and the only time he had it was like a blatant pass. Like, somebody was just wide open. That's when he passed the ball. But like, he literally went 6 straight times down the court and just shot either that floater or something. It's like,
Yeah, but he puts himself into. He'll come down like that, and like he'll dribble, and then all of a sudden he'll make his cut into the paint, but then he's in nowhere land. So then like you said, either the floater or he's looking frantically where I could kick it out. And some of the kickouts or passes were like kind of frightening. He jumped up at one point and threw it back, and Randall, I thought it was going to be a half court violation, but Randall got it. It's like, kid, don't leave your feet. And like you said, you can't do that. But I think after the last game, the 31 points maybe got into his head that he's going to try to take the team on his back, and somebody's got to, kid, nobody asked you to do that. You're too young to do that, but he'll come back. I like his attitude. He'll come back, and he's going to have more games like this, but he'll have more games like the 31 points too, because that's the type of shooter he is. But Peyton was brutal again. He had like 2 or 3 straight possessions where he came up short on a shot in the paint. He came up and like it was a makeable shot, and you're like, use the freaking backboard.
You know what else is Steven too?
Backboard.
When guys are rolling, Peyton has a very bad habit of throwing guys into traffic, and 3 guys are coming on that row. So which means that as a point guard, that weak side corner is probably open. That weak side wing is probably open. Peyton doesn't even look there.
Yeah. It was brutal. So let's see. Mitch got outmanned and out hustled tonight. I'm just reading Pseudonym Skype, our family, what their thoughts are. Also said, I don't know why Frank is not getting any burn. Hey, you know what? The way Peyton was, I'd have no out. The way it was going, and we were down by 10 or something, I'd throw Frank in there to try to maybe, be a cooler on our side, or maybe cool down those guys. He's a great defensive player, but I don't know, man. And I think the kiss of doom or whatever, Tibbs, I think, said in a press conference the other day that he doesn't know what his role is on the team. Frank's role is. Yeah, so that's like, oh no, you better, you have a reserve seat on the end of that pine.
Yep, right next to Dennis Smith Jr.
Right next to Dennis Smith Jr. And he better hope that there's an injury. Otherwise, we're probably not going to see a lot of him. Or, yo, Mo, how are you, my friend?
Salute.
What's up, Mo?
How you guys doing, man?
Yeah. So, Mo, what was your thoughts about the game tonight, man?
First of all, happy birthday, Kev. As you leave.
There he is.
I watched the first half. I only watched the first half.
You were lucky.
Yeah, I know. I thought I was like, leaving to, like it was a great game. We were gonna sweep the Jazz, but
we were actually leading 81-80 after 3.
Like. Right. I was all I had in my mind was Austin Rivers 10 for 10, and how Austin Rivers was the number 1 trend on Twitter. Like it felt like a win. And then I'm looking. I'm somewhere else. I'm at a friend's house, and I'm looking at the like the score, and I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, we're not putting points on the board. Like, we can't put points on the board. And it's just so ridiculous. Like, and I tuned in at the end of the game. I saw like Rudy Gobert just literally like making everybody look stupid. Like,
Yeah.
we had no answer for Rudy Gobert whatsoever. We don't have any bulk down low.
There was so many missed assignments where you saw the guys look at each other like, yo, what happened, man?
Yeah, no weak side hope. Yep.
And Quick's. I mean, he's gonna have bad games like that. He's a rookie, but I think he's probably. I'm swaying away from thinking of him as a point guard for sure. Like, he's definitely more of a piece than like a cornerstone. He might be more of a piece than a cornerstone. But I mean, it's too early to talk. But yeah.
It's too early to tell. But the reality is that I think you nailed it. That it takes years to be a real point guard. And although he played a couple of years at Kentucky, that wasn't his role there. And now he's taking a quick study on trying to do that. In the NBA, it's brutal. It's wolves, and they'll let you, put your rope out so you're hanging yourself. So hey, as we said, whether a Lou Will, I think he's going to start his career probably as just fire off the bench, quick offense. But he's not a pure point guard, man, and I don't think we're going to deviate.
I don't know, man. I disagree. I think,
ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Freezy's back.
Yeah, hey, everybody. So I don't know. I think the thing with Quickly is not just on him, because if you just go by the theory of ineptness in getting offense, then Elfrid Payton's not a point guard. I don't think you can just blame.
I know that, but I think the point that Day just made and Kevin about him coming down with 6 straight possessions and stuff like that, in his DNA, if he had more point guard in his DNA, he wouldn't be doing that for 6 straight possessions, especially as a rookie.
I'm just thinking it's too early. Because so shout out to you who did a breakdown of Emmanuel Quickly. So what he did was he broke down where the players on the floor.
Who broke it down? You broke up. I couldn't hear who you said.
You're breaking up a lot.
Sports Vibes TV. Can you hear me?
Oh, Keith. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So he did a breakdown of the Knicks offense, and Quickly does run point guard plays, and he looks to execute as the point guard. But when you see the other pieces, the other people, when you see Nerlens Noel hang out at the top of the key for 3, why are you at the top of the key instead of rolling to the basket? You're not a 3-point shooter, right? Yeah. And then you have roll to the basket, but everybody knows he wants to dunk, so that's covered. And then it's a lot of stuff, man. I think what we should probably do is save just on Quickly at point. And because I think the further we get along, I think the more we'll realize that what I'm saying, the kid does look to execute in that role. But it's not just him.
Here's another argument for your. Here's another point to your argument, Freezy, is that Tom is telling Quickly to fire off. He has the green light,
right?
So we also have to consider that as well.
Does Damian Lillard have a green light?
Of course he does.
But he's earned that green light.
Does Steph Curry have a green light? I mean, we can't just say just because you have the green light, you're not a point guard.
No, my point was is that maybe we don't see him initiating the offense as much as we do in his limited minutes because Tom Thibodeau has given him the green light in that reserved role.
But I'm old school. The quickest way, Freeze, he played 23 minutes and he had 1 assist. So that's the quickest way I say for a point guard report card that, son, you got an F. If you're a point guard, you can't play 23 minutes and have only 1 assist because you're here to make the other guys around you better. Get them in the flow. If you penetrate, kick it out. If they don't collapse on you, then do your floater and stuff. But 1 assist in 23 minutes is unacceptable.
when I left at halftime, he was 1 for 7. I don't know what he finished.
111, 1 for
111.
Okay, so yeah, like it's like how you 1 for 7 after the first half.
Yeah.
Like,
Those are the days. As a matter of fact, Chef NYK, I hope all is well. He said, "Quick's a rookie. He's learning. Nobody knows for sure what he is or what he isn't." And I think that's a real
accurate.
That's very accurate, Chef NYK. That's really well said. So, and C-Mac to you, Freezy downtown, Freezy Brown. What's good?
Oh, here's another thing too. Bogdanovic was 2 of 10 as well tonight.
And that's the second game we lucked out with that dude not shooting like he's capable of shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So
what's up with RJ playing 40 minutes and only scoring 17 points? What was his shooting?
Well, the real question was, and Day touched on this earlier, Mo, 40 minutes, but he only attempted 11 shots for the night. And he shot 7 for 11, which is fantastic. You can't ask any more from the kid. 3 for 3 from 3.
And it's not because he's shy, Mo. It's not because he's passing up shots either.
Yeah, they're not feeding him. They're just way too focused on Randall.
They're looking him off. It's Alfred looking him off. I hate it. I hate that. He's been doing that last year.
Has anyone brought up the rumors of the whole Derrick Rose situation?
No, take it, my friend. I was going to bring it up. I thought it was kind of fake news. Again, somebody writing an article.
Well, no, because Shams, I can't pronounce his last name, but you know who Shams is.
Absolutely.
If he says something, then it's kind of
he said we trying to get him?
Us and the Clippers.
Yeah. So it's not like some random fan said it. This is one of the most if not him and Woj are probably the two most what's the word I'm looking for? Knowledgeable people when it comes to these kind of things,
or have integrity,
like
reliable source.
Reliable sources.
Day's the grand prize winner.
So if he says it, then there has to be some merit to it. So the thing is, Detroit's in a situation. Don't they have the worst record in the East?
Yeah. As of there were 3.
So the question is, as we know, that Derrick Rose is definitely a Tom Thibodeau guy. What would it take? And here's the thing, because this would be different. This would be different from Derrick Rose's first go around here. So, what would be Derrick Rose's impact as a starting point guard of this team?
It would be better than Peyton's.
Yeah, exactly. That's all that matters. Like, this is going to be a very watered down Derrick Rose. Like, I think he's playing worse this year.
He's averaging 15 a game.
Yeah, it's not like,
and like 5 assists.
2 years ago,
a little bit.
2 years ago, he was averaging like 18.
So
I think the Clippers could use him more than we do.
Listen, no team can use a point guard more than we do. We have Elfrid Payton. Okay. There's no team.
If I'm Derrick Rose, I'm going to LA. I'm not going to this nonsense.
He's 32 years old. He's averaging 4.6 assists, 2 rebounds, 14. I'll round it off, 15 points a game, shooting 33% from 3, 84% from the line. So anything but Peyton. But was there any talk about what the cost would be to get him?
No, they didn't bring up the cost. It was just they picked up the interest with. I didn't. I mean, that's interesting. What would be the cost of getting? Because he's only making like $7 million this year on the last year of his deal.
That guy's a second round pick. Like, I feel like, or maybe Frank. I'll give Frank it.
Yeah, I'm looking up right now. He is making. Yep, you nailed it. $7,682,927. So, yep. So that's a real nice contract, and he signed the 2-year, $15 million contract last year. So the thing that didn't work out to our thing was that their first round draft pick, Killian Hayes, got hurt. If he didn't get hurt, he would be even more expendable. So
right, that's a good point.
Yeah. So
they want probably another point guard and something else in return.
Give him Frank.
We ain't got that.
I'd give him DSJ for Derrick Rose.
Yeah, For sure.
I mean, it's going to be DSJ and something else.
I'll give him a second round pick.
So he's making 7,682, but we have 18 million, so it doesn't really make a difference. But let me see 1 second.
I don't know, Mo. I would have wasted draft pick on Derrick Rose.
A second round pick, like a 2022 second round pick for a guy that can like get us into the playoffs, like squarely into like the 7th, 8th seed. Like if we had, I mean, it wouldn't change our spacing that much. I mean, has he become a better shooter?
He has in his older years.
His mid range is better.
Yeah. Dennis Smith, by the way, is making 5,686,000. So we're about 1.4 or 1.3. Somebody with a contract on the team about 1.3. So I could find that out. But yeah, I think we need to. Yeah, he's 32, but there's a lot of miles on that 32. And what's your gut feeling,
y'all want to entertain Knox for Derrick Rose?
Nah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
So
I would. What the hell is Knox giving me?
Right.
No. Because Knox is like that's our draft pick. Like you gotta put that guy in like a bigger deal for a bigger player. Like if we're turning like what, like I don't know, he's gonna be a part of like a Beal deal or something like that, or he's got to be a part of like something. Like for Derrick Rose, no, people wouldn't be happy about that. That's just a waste of a draft pick.
Mo, he played 7 minutes tonight.
That's pretty bad. I didn't watch this whole game, so like I don't know why isn't he playing? What did he do in his 7 minutes?
Like I said, the last really we saw of him was he got a rebound. He came down court like he does coast to coast, and instead of trying to jam it and get foul or anything, he went for like a reverse, got blocked, and Tibbs took him right out, and that was the last we saw of him. And I think whether it was just coincidence that he took him out or whatever, but that was the last basically we saw of him to the last play of the game, where he got the ball at the top of the key, try to go put the ball on the ground, put the ball on the floor. The ball got away from them. They took the ball and dribbled out the rest of the game, and that was it.
He had got beaten off the dribble too.
Terrible.
With some porous D.
He just always looked. The whole road trip, actually, the last 4 or 5 games, he looks a step behind on getting through screens.
Yeah.
Just looks. So
to the conversation, Mo, what would really be his value?
Not his value. Well, I still think he has value as a shooter.
Me too. That's why I said I wouldn't do it. I think that I'd give up DSJ and still say, you know what, if the kid maybe gets into a groove, maybe things can turn around. But I am asking the chat tonight seriously, and I'm real serious now. It's Kevin's birthday. Let's just be cool tonight with the Knox bashing. We've gone through a lot in the last 24 or so hours. We all said what we needed to say, but we don't need to kill it any longer.
Okay.
Let's have a nice night. Let's treat our brother nice. No harassing. Okay. Thank you, Clutch Noah from Clutch B-Ball TV. That's what I'm talking about. He said, "Happy birthday, Kevin." So that's the type of love we want.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So enough's enough, man. No bashing on my brother. So,
if Austin Rivers doesn't score 25 points in the first half,
the game. Yeah.
What would have happened?
We would have had a lot of rookies playing tonight.
Exactly, Steven.
Yeah, that's scary. And also, if they weren't so cold in the first half, also. So if he didn't score 25 and they weren't so cold, this would have been a really frightening game, folks.
Yep.
And Donovan Mitchell was like real cold in the first half.
For the whole game.
9 points for the whole game.
That's really?
Yeah, so we lucked the hell out, Mo. The whole a premium guy like the 9 points and still get blown out. That really.
And look at this, Mo. Jordan Clarkson was only 5 of 16. Bogdan Bojanovic was only 2 of 10, and we still lost by 14.
Yeah.
What's
and-
the deal? Who went off? Was it Conley?
Conley had 19, and that was most of them in the second half. Royce O'Neal murdered us.
About to
in the
say
second
the
half.
one that tonight was the 6'4" power forward.
Yeah, he murdered us.
Yeah, and Gobert finished up with
Gobert.
18.
And
Yeah.
Julius couldn't kill. Like he had 19, right?
Julius
19.
shot 6 of 16, sir.
Yeah, he looked tired. Mo, he looked real tired. He
Yeah.
had 10 rebounds. He had 4 assists. But he looked tired. And you know what? Burks looked tired. His shot was coming up short tonight. When you see a guy like that hitting the front of the rim on his jumpers, that means his legs, usually that means his legs is not into the shot. So, yeah.
And Austin couldn't get one more bucket. Like
That was it. First half. And then he didn't get back. Dave's going to reading my mind.
Yeah, Mo, Austin didn't get back into the game until 3 or 2 minutes left in the third quarter. And then when he did, they didn't even run anything for him. And that was part of that quickly stuff that me and Kev were alluded to about him not initiating the offense in like 6 or 7 straight possessions.
I think it was kind of questionable taking him out after getting 3 fouls.
Why?
Because he's hot. That's as hot as you're gonna get. You take a guy out, it doesn't even matter. Like even if he gets another foul, like he's a guard, he should be able to control himself and not foul. Like, and he's a veteran. You should be able to trust him to be out there and get more buckets. Like he could have gotten more points. Like didn't they take him out with 2 minutes or 3 minutes left in the second half? In the first half, yeah.
Yeah, after he picked up his third. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, Clyde during the broadcast, too stupid. Like that, he wouldn't have been in that situation. And I wrote a note to myself, like when he was coming here, I was like, you know what? He's a coach's son. He was on 5 teams. He only averaged 2 assists. He shoots 64% from the line, but he's a coach's son, and he should be able to be better in Peyton. And he's made some plays recently. I'm like, man, he's the dumbest coach's son I've ever seen. Come on, man. And he, one of his fouls, he thought they were, they had a foul to give, and he gave the he gave the look like, oh man, I can't believe I did that, and everyone's like, come on, you're supposed to be a vet, not making those mistakes. Come on.
Correct, Steven. Correct.
And what's up with Mitch? Like talking on Twitter, like what is he doing on Twitter? He's like. Did you guys see what he said on Twitter?
No.
He was like, one day they'll let me play, and then he deleted it, right after the game. It's like a big deal now.
A week or so ago, Van Gundy had some negative things to say about Mitch, and the P word, professional or lack of professionalism. Again, he talked about him missing flights and stuff like that. We know how the thing with the USA team, and that he was also on that part of that thing. So it left a bad taste in people's mouths. But, we've had buddies like that we've seen that they can't get out of their own way. That they're nice, they're cool, but they're either goofy or whatever it is in their personality that they say something that you look at them like, why'd you do that, man? You're just going to bring stuff upon yourself. I did see this statistic today for Mitch, that so far this season he has 1 game with 0 fouls, 2 games with 1 foul, 3 games with 2 fouls, 7 games with 3 fouls, 5 games with 4 fouls, and he's had 0 games with for both 5 or 6.
Right.
So that has been an advancement, but as my brother Kevin said, that if that is the sole area of development that we've seen, without that shot again, not keeping anyone honest, if Nerlens hit a jump shot yesterday, if he's, or the other 2 days ago,
right,
if he's a threat, it's like, come on, Mitch. And did you see the bricks on his foul shots tonight?
Yeah.
Oh my God, they weren't even close.
No.
And so he's regressed foul shots a year ago.
Yeah.
So we're like just saying to ourselves, in the first half, Barrett had 11 points in the first half. Randall had 11 points in the first half. So that just means that, Barrett just scored 6 points in the second half and 7 points for Randall in the second half. So it just shows you how we we just didn't have it tonight. We had, I don't know if Mo, if you were here where I brought it up. When I watched the game, or maybe you noticed in the first half or what you did see, their legs looked like they were running like quicksand and stuff. They just looked tired. And then Kevin said he saw on Twitter that they did have a workout today. I'm like, are you kidding? It's the last game of a 4-game swing. Everybody wants to get home. Come on, man. So they came out hot and then half in the championship rounds.
To go back on Mitch real quick, this was a game where Rudy Gobert and Mitch do a lot of similar things. I'm not saying Mitchell is Rudy. I'm just saying that, because Rudy is a better product of what Mitchell does, and it's night and day.
Yeah,
18 and 19 compared to 7 and 7.
Yeah,
and they played about the same amount of minutes.
Mitch needs to get into the habit of like.
And they don't run nothing for Rudy, by the way.
They don't run anything for Rudy. But like, how does Mitch get more buckets? Like, what does he have to do? Like, is it like a putback thing? Like, what is he trying? Like, what? How is he?
Well, that's Rudy's game too.
Well, Mo, let's keep this in mind. Like we mentioned before, their last assist. All right, the offense in the half court looks terrible. Right, we don't get out in transition, so it's very hard for a guy like Mitch to go ahead and get some consistency and get touches and alley oops and stuff of that nature because there's no fluidity, there's no consistency on the offensive end.
And RJ is seems like the only guy that knows how to get it to Mitch on a lob. Like who's like willing to get it to Mitch. You know what I mean? Like he's very like when he gets into the paint, like that's like one of his main, like other than trying to get a bucket for himself, like that's one of the main things he's thinking about. And I don't feel like Alfred has those intentions all the time when he's driving. So it's like,
no, he doesn't.
He does have one intention.
Julius
Either
Randle.
shoot it or Julius Randle. He's my brother.
Right.
So, let me see from our family. This is going to be a team of winning streaks and losing streaks. No consistency. Brian Batista, I think you nailed it. I don't know about that. I think it's going to be a season of losing streaks. And maybe we'll 1 or 2, but I think we're going to have more losing streaks than we're going to have winning streaks.
Let's look at our next couple of games.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Let's do this. We got the Cavaliers on Friday. Then we have the Bulls on Monday. It's a lot of rest in between that. That's good for us. Then, I'm sorry.
I got a sneeze coming on. I'm going on mute.
Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. I totally read this wrong. We have the Cavaliers on Friday. We have the Clippers on Sunday. Oh, so then we have a back-to-back against the Bulls on Monday.
Okay.
Then we have the Bulls again on Wednesday. Then we have the Trailblazers again on Saturday. And then we got the Heat on Sunday.
Well, we got the Heat back-to-back on that one, too.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
I just watched them against Brooklyn.
How are they looking?
Not like last year.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Butler wasn't in.
Right.
So, but Chicago, I think Wendell Carter's out. I think he has a MCL or he has a sprain or something. He's getting his knee scoped, or not scoped, but he's getting it scanned and stuff like that. So.
4 weeks they're talking about him.
Yeah,
we better sweep those games to Chicago.
I would have swept Chicago, Mo. Chicago got firepower.
They got. Yes, that's something we don't have. They got that.
And I was just going to say that you took the words right out of my mouth. And we have a problem with teams that run and gun like that because we can't keep up with them, and we don't have the firepower to supply.
But we can slow teams down. Like we definitely we've shown that we can like slow the pace against like pretty much.
Yeah. The Cavs got beat by LeBron went off on them yesterday for.
That was amazing. I was so happy to watch that. That was like
yeah, but did you see one of the Cavs said something and him off?
Oh, really? What? Oh, I wonder what he said.
And meeting LeBron, and one of the Cavs owners, he heard them say, and you saw it on the replay, give a look, and it just put the fire in, and the next thing you know, he went nuts.
Mm.
Oh,
So, yeah, let's see. So the Cavs played the Nets real tough, beat them twice within the week. So,
But
and we
Cavs are
lucked
not a
out.
pushover.
Yeah, and we lucked out last time we played them because they didn't have their backcourt, and we still lost to them.
Correct.
They played the Lakers tough too. It was
Yeah.
tough. It was a tough game.
And with our saving grace with the Clippers might be we might not have to deal with Kawhi and Paul George because of this whole safety protocol stuff.
Oh, they got it?
Yeah, they didn't play tonight. That's why Atlanta beat them.
I love it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. So Sexton, Garland. So we're gonna see him. We're definitely gonna see him Friday.
We've been staying safe. Like we haven't had any well, cross our fingers, but no protocol issue.
right.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that's because we have kids that don't have reputations for being partiers, or we're just lucky.
I think it is, and you have Tom Thibodeau is gonna kill you if you go outside. If you leave your hotel room, like if anybody enters your hotel room, you're not gonna get playing time for the next 5 minutes.
And you can't get it playing Fortnite.
Yeah,
So
I mean, the way he running them, he might destroy their immune systems, and they might get some anyway. The way he killing them.
Yeah. Hey, Glenn Greenstein. Hope all is well in the chat. Shout out to you. Do me a favor, just chill out so much on the Knox bashing tonight. Let's give our guy a night off. Let's be nice. It's his birthday. Everybody can give him one giant present. We know how Knox played tonight, so we don't need to talk about it a billion times. State said, though, sticking up for Knox, he only touched the ball one time in 5 minutes, fellas, and
Yeah, that's true.
That is true, but I don't know if that made so much of a difference, State. So, hey, State, you doing your buddy over here a favor and getting a new mic and stuff, so when the next time you come on, we have nice crystal clear, so people can hear all your great takes, and we don't hear because that's anybody good playing stuff. Quiet Money, salute to you, my brother. Hope all is well. Hey, Noah from Clutch Ball TV, we did bring up Niang those three.
Sure did.
Thank you for the feed. We touched on that, but as Jay was saying that we lucked the hell out because this could have been a lot if Austin didn't have that 25-point first half and they didn't have a crummy first half shooting. This game would have been over real early.
Yep.
And I'm selfish. Maybe that would have been better, so we could have seen more Obi. Because, like Day said earlier, man, he made he hit a nice basket, nice post up move, a little right hand hook,
right.
Went off rim that went in for him. It's like so. Hey, Glenn Greenstein, thank you. He said sorry. No worries, man. We're just trying to show love to our family.
I'm gonna.
Hey,
I'll go ahead, Sam. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, hey, Freezy, if you can, I'm gonna put a link in for Joe Madden. He wants to get in, so if you listen, either put the link in or let our guy in. So take a day.
Right before I wrap it up, because I gotta wake. I gotta work in the morning. These are my ending conclusions. Offensively, we're a mess. And this is just going to be a continuous problem throughout the season. And I think we've realized that some of these defensive numbers are not what we are.
Thank you.
And I think as the season progresses, and you mentioned it before, Stephen, teams are starting to get into their mode, getting a feel for the season, a quarter in. Shots are going to start going down. Pace is going to get better. And we struggle with those things. We struggle at getting at open shooters. We struggle with pace. and most importantly, we're going to struggle putting the ball in the basket. So I don't know.
But
It's
ladies and
looking
gentlemen,
scary.
there's good news to what Dave was saying. As of I think this morning, prior to the game, I think our draft choices, both ours and the Mavs, were picking 15th and 16th at this point.
Beautiful.
So if what Dave is saying that the reality of the talent on this roster is coming, that we're seeing the true talent or lack of talent is probably the better way of saying it. That by the time this season ends, that we're going to be going from 15, 16, hopefully down to 5 and 6.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
But let's not count Dallas out. Dallas is having a very up and down season so far.
Twitter was killing KP yesterday
Mm.
because of the loss. You know, he missed some shots and stuff like that. So
Right.
now he's lucky he's in a smaller market in Dallas. But if the smaller market is beating the hell out of him, saying, "God, this guy, he's killing us," he's lucky in New York.
Yeah, and so it could be a chance that we got some high lottery picks.
Yeah,
It's a
and
good
we're going to
chance.
need him because
Yes.
more and more that we see it, we have to get. You know, when we take a step back and we say point guard, point guard. You know, I know you got to go, Day. I love when you're on the panel. You're one of my
Thank you. I
favorites.
appreciate it, Steve. Thanks.
But there's really nobody out there to get.
Yeah.
Conley will be a free agent next year, but he's an old dude, and
Yeah.
you know he has talent. But you know who the hell knows what he's going to be asking in numbers. He has you know, thank God we didn't get him this year. That contract's crazy. But
Right.
you know, we talked about over the last several shows the age on Lowry, but there's really no young. You know, there's not somebody that's on somebody's bench out there that's losing their talent. You know, that we can go
Yeah.
after. They're just so valuable. So
Yeah.
it's either draft or get an old guy, or you know, a George Hill, or get a quote unquote veteran.
Yeah.
But that's the pain that either you know we're this is a soft tanking process, and it's the Cade Jalen, because I really don't know of any. You know, there's other point guards, but there's no other quote unquote elite prospects other than Cade and Jalen. I know the kid on Kentucky, and there's a kid on Butler, but they. You know, some of them are undersized, some of them have no wingspan, some of them are slow.
Yeah.
That's not what we want.
Yeah. Organizations have done a very good job, especially in the past couple of years, of locking up their young talent. And yeah, I agree with you. We're devoid of talent. We're in need of talent. There's not a lot of places to go, and we might not have no choice but to develop. And to that point, now I ask you, if we sign Tom Thibodeau for 5 years, right? Now let's say he sticks around for 3 or 4, right? How much of that time will really be dedicated on him, you know, primarily developing the youth? Because right now it doesn't look like that's nowhere near his mind.
I agree, and that's why we've seen Dolan, we've seen this management and stuff that I think that Johnny Bryant, they have a glimmer in their eyes for that guy, and that if they think that this guy is maybe the NBA game has passed them by,
Yeah,
that
they might
you
go that
know,
route.
they
Yeah.
may pull the hook on him and say, Johnny, take over this team, and we know we're going to be crummy this team, but we know you and Kenny Payne and a few others. Take care of our youth, teach them, and we're giving you the keys to take it over. But you know,
We
hey,
hope.
Why are y'all so doom and gloom right now?
we're not doom and gloom. We're just
Well,
calling it.
Y'all
why
are
do you think? Why do you think that we're doom and gloom though?
Ending like resignation. Like I don't understand. This year, like come on. Like it. Are you talking about 2 years down the road, or like how much down the road are you talking about?
If we have an 11 game winning streak, a losing streak, anything could happen.
This year,
Yeah.
I feel like there's no way that's gonna happen.
We're just taking a glimpse
Did
into
you
a
think
long
they would get
picture
rid of
scenario.
Fizz that quick?
Yeah, but like they at least gave Fizz a year.
They didn't give him a year.
Wait, did he play? Wait, didn't he coach? No, didn't.
Am I wrong, Day?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
They didn't give Fizz a year. in his
Fizz got thrown out in the quarter of his second year.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was okay.
Yeah, he had a year. Yeah.
All right. It's this old brain of mine.
No. No. So I feel like Tom at least will have 1 year, and I think after this 1 year, we're gonna get so much more talent. We're gonna figure out a way to like just fill our talent with fill our team with something like some kind of.
We have no choice.
We have to. We have to
because this roster is devoid of talent, and I mean offensively. I mean the numbers don't lie. We watch these games. How many points did we have tonight? We had 94 points tonight.
Yeah. And that's with a guy that went untouchable for a first half. If that 25 points didn't happen in that first half, we could very easily had 83 tonight.
Right, and in that Portland game, what got us that offensive moving was quickly going off in that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
What was it looking like before that? It was looking stagnant. It was no ball movement. You know, couldn't figure out the zone, which I didn't understand why the Jazz didn't get into the zone tonight, because that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
But that's what it is.
Save the energy. Just let the guys shoot. We'll get the rebound, and we'll go from there. You don't have to.
I'm saying.
Yeah. Hey, Finn Carley, I see everybody's like Lonzo. Nah, man. You see how he's shooting? That's Lonzo would come into he'd come into a firestorm. Him shooting that way immediately. It's like this is Elfrid Payton all over again.
And he brings the same type of problems where he can't break down the defense. He doesn't get into the paint like that. Can't really create too well off the pick and roll. Same issues.
Isn't he like? And I feel like he would thrive more in the open floor, like a faster paced team, like would he like? Would Thibodeau ever be willing to like run? I don't think so.
It's not looking like it right now.
Yeah, it's not looking.
What if we get a bunch of talent that like wants to run, and Tibbs is like, nah, we're doing this.
He wouldn't have his job much longer. If that's the case.
Hey,
I'll go. Sorry.
No, take it, Dave, please.
I was just going to say one thing that, there was a play, I think it was in the fourth, where Julius grabbed the rebound and he just ran. And he got it up and he dribble hand off to Burke, and Burke had a nice mid-range. And that was because they played with pace. That was because when you move, right, and you're fast and that defense doesn't get back, it creates more lanes. It creates, more
scoring. Was that a jumper by the elbow?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that was sweet. Yeah, that was nice.
And I just don't understand why we don't do that more.
I know.
We don't have the players to be playing slow pace. We don't have them.
Yeah. Jagin Heiger asked us, should the Knicks trade vets for younger pieces or trade the youth for vets? I wouldn't trade her, meaning if we trade our youth, it's going to be for a point guard vet. I don't think we're going to go trade for any other position other than a point guard. I think we'll just tank because exactly what Dave was saying, that we're so void of talent. Because I know my brother Kevin talks about, there's talent on this team. Anybody that's in the NBA has talent, but there's talent, and then there's elite talent. We have a void of elite talent on this team. We only have a couple pieces. We have RJ, we have Randall, and obviously you have Mitch, but you know what? And JD brought this up about the tweet, and we touched on it a little while ago. He keeps doing those things, man. He's gonna force himself right out of New York, where they're just gonna say he's too immature. These stupid tweets. You want, your wish will come true, especially if we can get something, get a haul for him. The game's changing, man. He doesn't shoot threes. He's not a wide body. The Drummonds and wide bodies just eat him up. So there's not, so he can't be walking around like I'm untouchable. You are touchable, man.
Right. So, absolutely. Okay, gentlemen, I'm going to call it a night.
Okay, as always, please come back as fast as you can because we love your insight.
I love you. I love it, brother. And
another back at you.
And another thing too is that there's going to have to be some major adjustments made offensively. That's where I'm really looking at.
Yeah.
And I think whether we play slow or whether we play fast, I think we're doomed either way because we're just so devoid of talent. But we have a better chance of getting up and down. This
Hey,
slow
just
stuff's
real
not working.
one last thing, a gut. Do you think Tibbs would be? He said he learned a lot by being out of the game, and he did all this stuff. And obviously, it was a little bit of a humiliating experience in Minnesota. Do you
Yeah,
think there's a point where Johnny and Kenny Payne and Woody sits him down and say, "This offense, we got to change this offense, Tom"?
absolutely. I think that's starting to
You
be
think he'd
talked
be?
about now.
You think he'd be open to it?
I think he has no choice but to be open to it.
Yeah, because you don't want mutiny from the coaches. Because the quickest way of the mutiny is all of a sudden, for I don't know how it happened, but certain stories get leaked.
Right,
Yeah,
right, right.
That's how they played that game.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm gonna be back on Friday
All right,
after
me
the
too.
Cavs game. I'll be
Yeah.
here.
Okay. God bless.
yeah.
Take
Guys, have a
care.
great day. Have a
You
great night.
too.
Thank you. Take care.
Yeah.
Mm,
Let's see. Our future gaming. Hope all is well. Hey, pal. I brought it up the other day. You like Jones? We and the guy's shooting 22.9% from three, and the guy's just shooting 71% from the foul line. That unless we can get him for nothing, I don't know, man. And let's see.
Talking about
And
Lonzo?
no, Tyus Jones. He's only 6 feet.
Oh,
I know you like him, pal, but for the second game of the day in a row or the second broadcast, I don't know, man.
not a starting point guard.
Yeah, Nick Yak said that Tibbs let quickly play today and he cost us the game. And I don't think Quick cost us the game. I think he was part of a lot of guys who cost us the game tonight.
Yeah.
And also he's a rookie. If he's playing like that, a lot of times I'll put it on the coach. Uh, JD said, I don't know if he's coming here, but there is no way Zion is a Pelican past his rookie contract. Uh, yeah, oh man, I was watching some footage on him. I don't know if it's DNA, him getting older, maturing. He didn't look the same explosion as a year ago. He's
That's that's what everyone's saying.
man,
But
he's huge. He's dunking the ball, but he's not dunk. He didn't dunk the ball with the same ferocity. So I don't know,
he's still
Jonathan. If we, he's a great marketing guy, but you just know with that weight and that size, there's an injury in his future right around the corner. Those knees and those tendons and those muscles, they're not meant for a man that big coming down with that force.
no, you got a point. Like that, I've never. I mean, we haven't seen anything like Zion. So I mean,
Exactly.
you know, we'll,
And
we'll,
that's the thing. Like, how many guys that size have we ever seen? And the answer is none. We saw Charles Barkley, and that was still a 40-pound difference for where Zion is at, and also Zion's game. He plays. The higher you go, the bigger the fall.
yeah, it's a lot of grind on those knees. Like there's a lot of physical wear and tear. The
Knees,
game that he
feet, hips.
yeah, like yeah. So we'll see. But I mean, I wouldn't mind having Zion. Like I don't like as long as he's playing, like he's gonna be good. But
But
it's
but
about
Mo, I'm putting you in the GM position. A couple years ago, you're
okay,
head GM for New Orleans.
right.
You have your marketing people over here, and you have your basketball people over here. Who do you select with your pick?
You're taking Zion. You're taking
No,
Zion all the way.
you take John Morant all the way.
No, I don't think
No,
so. I think
Zion is a marketing pick. The Ja is a basketball operations pick, where you're just saying, I don't know. That was my thing. That you knew that marketing, he's going to sell a hell of a lot of merchandise, and the seats are going to be filled up if there was no COVID. Everyone wants to see that. But real basketball people, I'd say, would say, no, you take Ja. That guy will have a longer career. He'll have a better career. He makes the players around him better. He and obviously they had Drew at that time before they traded him away. They had Lonzo. They had, their 43, but still, say I'll take John, I'll trade Drew, in which they eventually did.
I think Zion is gonna be like, if I think he's gonna figure out a way to stay healthy. He's gonna figure out a way to be a consistent 25 and 10 guy.
But do
Like,
you think he can? Do you think DNA is going to take over, Mo?
I mean, we don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but like as of now, he's still playing.
Yeah.
He hasn't been injured yet. So if he continues on this route and he's a 25 and 10 guy, like how is that number one pick a mistake against Ja? I mean, Ja's amazing. Ja's a great point guard. Like he's great, but how good is he gonna be? Is he gonna be like an MVP? Like that's like we don't know. I mean, like he's
Zion's shooting 20% from three this year. He's shooting 66% from the foul line. So, when he gets it in the paint, he's an ESPN top 10 pick, but there's a lot more to the game than that. And, his shooting only 1.9 assists. He has a little under 8 rebounds a game in 23 minutes. But and he's scoring 23 points. There's no doubt about it. He has special talents.
his team is not like the team that he's got around him is not really like gonna help him. Like he has no shooters around him. He's
Ingram's a
got,
shooter.
you know Ingram, that's it. But like Bledsoe, Lonzo, they're not very good shooters. Steven Adams is like in there clogging the paint too. Like he's not got. We haven't seen what Zion really is going to be. Like he's having like his sophomore slump. Like, I think.
I know, but his sophomore slump, and that's why I said DNA. I don't know if he can starve and still be lose weight. This guy, he just looks wider this year. I mean, he looks wide, and you would think he'd be coming in as svelte as that he was on a vegetarian diet or whatever, saying if I want a long NBA career and I want the quickness and I want the hops and I want everything that I have to keep going. But he looks huge. I mean, huge. Like I sides, he just looks wide, and with those two white knee pads, it's just like he looks like an old left tackle. Hey, a quick shout out, Daryl Pemberton, super chat. This guy Daryl Pemberton is not only great insight on his takes in the chat, but he's an incredibly generous guy with his super chats. He said Dallas also lost tonight, so I'm good. Yeah, Daryl, I said earlier that as of before this game, I think we're picking 15, and the pick Dallas would be picking 16, which is our pick. So Dallas, please keep losing.
You're breaking up a little bit.
We cool? Can you hear me? Am I still breaking up?
You're much better now. Much better now.
Yeah. This StreamYard, this streaming software, Ron.
Yeah, it's breaking up a little bit again.
Drives us crazy. It just drives us crazy.
Yeah. Steve? Oh man. Wow. I'm the only person left. Hey Steve. Steve. No? Okay. Well, it's the Mo show now, I guess. Yeah, Zion's I mean, honestly, Steve might actually be right. Just thinking about it, Ja's like nasty. So yeah, today it was a tough game. I didn't even watch like the. Oh man, this is crazy. I didn't even watch like the second half, but for the first half, I saw like Austin Rivers go 10 for 10, score 25 points, and it looked like it was going to be a good day, and then obviously no. And the crazy thing is that Donovan Mitchell didn't even have a good game. He scored. Wait, let me pull up some stats since I'm the only person in this. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell didn't have a really good game. RJ, another thing is RJ scored like 17 points on 40, like in 40 minutes, but he only shot 11 times, which is like, well, what's going on here? Like, yeah, well, Orange Tears, hosted by Mo. Let me go to the chat. Yeah, I need some help over here. The Mo Knicks Show. Yes, it is. Thank you, AO Pal. I appreciate that. Tibbs did freeze him. He really did. Yeah. It was a horrid. Yeah, Joaquin Hagar says that was a horrid second half, almost like they ran out of gas. Yeah. I mean, Austin Rivers did say that he was tired. Like he said that the team is tired. So it was tough. It was really tough to see. Well, yeah. Again, welcome to the Mo Knicks Show on Blue Orange Tears. Technical difficulties have us in a very weird predicament where I am hosting the show now. Yeah, quickly Burks quickly didn't have a good game, but that's what's gonna happen this year. Like he's a rookie, like so it's gonna be tough sometimes. Yeah, he was missing that floater, the floater that he usually makes. It's tough, man. It was a tough game, but you know what? It's the end of the Western Conference. The Western Conference. This Western road trip. So, I think now we're gonna come back home and we're gonna get some wins. We're gonna play Cleveland. Cleveland's been playing tough, but I think we have enough to beat them. We could beat Cleveland. Come on, it's Cleveland. We could beat Cleveland. Let's see what's going on with the chat. What do I think about Obi? I think Obi, like the thing is that Obi doesn't have enough opportunity to show like what he can do. Like so like he's like I thought we weren't gonna have Julius Randle. Like we were gonna trade Julius Randle. But unfortunately, Julius was like, no. And so we picked Obi. Obi's our first round pick. And as our number one pick, he's been disappointing, but like he hasn't played enough games for us to really make a true like assessment of what he is. But I think he has a lot of potential. I think he has a lot of potential because like, he's shown his athleticism. He's shown that he has like a lot of he can pass. Oh, Freezy, thank you so much for coming back. Oh my god. Oh, thank you guys. Oh my god. What's up? What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up, Mo?
Hey, Mo. Hey, Freezy. How you doing?
Trying to hold it down.
Yeah, Foxy's having internet issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, man. I wanted to jump in real quick anyway, man. There's a couple things I wanted to holler about. So, what's up, Goose?
Hey, Mo. What's up, baby?
Yo.
Hey, Freezy. Everything good?
Hey, let me do this real quick. All right, hold on.
What do you think about Obi Toppin?
I think myself.
What's good, gentlemen?
Hey, Joe. What's up, Joe?
What's happening, Goose? What's happening, Mo? How we doing?
I think Obi Toppin will show his skill set with more minutes and as he becomes more comfortable and he settles into his role. What I've noticed in the last few games that he's played, I noticed that he's making back cuts behind the defense to get to the hoop,
Mm.
which I think is very good. A very good skill set for him to display. He's getting behind the defenses and he's getting passes and running along the baseline to get to the hoop for dunks or layups, what have you. And so what he needs to do is as he gets more minutes, concentrate on what works for him. We've already seen that he could make an open three, but I would not have him depend on those too often. Um, I would just have him do a couple of threes a game just to keep the defenses on their toes. But at the same time, just concentrate on penetrating penetrating the defense in the paint. So
Yeah,
I think he's going to work out as long as he settles into his role and his minutes potentially escalate. Um, yeah, that's my take on Obi at the moment. Yeah.
yeah. I saw him. I like that he's been trying to uh, use his mid range. Um, a
Yeah.
little, like that. So that's one thing that I've seen in the past 2 games. Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit, and it's off the dribble, which is also a little bit is very encouraging actually. So.
I think the more versatile he shows himself to be, the better. I think his defense is slowly coming around. He's not. Don't get me wrong. He's not a leader or anything like that, but he's showing improvement on the defensive side, little by little. Not big, huge steps, but enough that Tibbs is not going to hide him. He's not. Tibbs is not really looking to hide his defense on the court in any way. So I think that's progressing slowly, and it'll only improve as time goes on. I think
Yes.
we'll see a significant jump by the end of the season in his defensive play. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, no, his defense is a lot. People had knocks on him saying that we were worried about his defense coming out of the draft. It's a lot better than I thought. I don't know if that's just the 9 month layoff and just been constantly working with Tibbs, but his defense, as Goose said, it's not elite, but it's not awful either. It's okay.
Right.
And what I noticed the last 2 games, he's hitting mid range games now.
Yeah.
So he's a shot. He can be a 3 level scorer. What I want to see more of him is in the post where he's supposed to be, elite at, or where his game is around the post.
Mhm.
And it seems like Tibbs is playing him more on the perimeter. I don't know if that's to try and get him out of his comfort zone and expand his game. But I think as a rookie coming in, you want to get him comfortable at what he's good at first before
Yeah.
expanding. So, but Obi, I think too. What he missed a couple of shots early on when he first come back from the injury, easy layups, or there was a dunk he missed. But I think what Tibbs made a good point was these kids were off for 9 months, and without no game time, no nothing. He played half a game, he got hurt, so he's still looking for to get his timing back.
Right.
Quickly's got a lot more minutes to get his timing. Obi's only getting anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes a game. Quickly's coming out getting 20, 25. Some nights he's getting 30. So Quickly's starting to get his timing back. Obi's
Right.
just, it's going to take him a little bit longer because of the lack of minutes. But I think Obi's not ready to start yet. I think that's why it's good to have Randall. But if the season's over by the deadline, then you maybe look to start him in. But as of now, I think it's good. It's a good thing we didn't trade Randall and have the pressure put on Obi. Now we get to sit back and take his time and learn. But I think Obi's going to be a very good NBA player. I think he can be. Him and Mitch can be very, very dangerous together, like the Gotham Lob, New York City Lob in the Garden with that crowd going, baby. In the future, 3 years down the line, the Garden's going to be crazy with them too. But as of now, I think he needs a year at least.
We need somebody to throw those lobs though.
That's the thing, and that's why next year's draft is where we have to look at. People hate on me saying looking at the draft, but who are we going to get in free agency? They're all old. They're all going to be stopgaps for a year or two. You want to get a young point guard now. All the good teams in the NBA have all good young point guards, or have veteran point guards that are elite or all stars. I think there's us and Detroit are the only teams without point guards. Like their point guard, they're looking to trade Rose, and Hayes got hurt. So I don't know if they're trading Rose. Do you think is that Detroit trying to fade for Cade?
Yeah, for sure.
Because what's their record? They're like what, 3-13 or something?
Yeah, they're in the cellar. They're definitely in the cellar of the Eastern Conference.
Yeah. So see, to me, that's why having 2 picks in this draft and 2 second rounders, and also people come on me and we're like, oh, the second rounders aren't worth much. The 2 second rounders we have is Detroit and Charlotte. They're going to be top second rounders in a deep draft.
I love it.
Having 4 picks means you can move up if need be. So that's what I'm looking at is we need to look in the draft for a point guard, because we can't go and get Kyle Lowry for a year or 2 or Derrick Rose for a year and keep doing this. Because how long have we been doing this veteran point guard stopgap? We've been doing it for a while. We need to get it in the draft. And I know Steve agrees with me, if we have to, move up in the draft and try and get Cade or Suggs or one of them top point guards. Because we need a long-term answer. I can't go with Kyle Lowry next year and then the year after we go get somebody else. And we need a young point guard that can do it, and we need it now.
I was on Tankathon while I was waiting to get on the panel.
Yeah.
And on Tankathon you could simulate the lottery. And hey, what's up?
Thank you, fellas. Thank you, Mo, for holding down. Hey, Goose, my brother.
Hey,
Joe.
brother. How you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything okay?
Yeah, I'm hardwired. Okay. It's never happened before, so I just rebooted my router, said a Hail Mary, and here I am.
Yeah, the weather this morning on Blar and Steers, the morning show, I must have tried to log in about 10 times, but the snow was screwing around my internet.
Yeah, I had to turn on my coils on my roof and stuff.
Yeah.
When I was on Tankathon, I was simulating some lotteries, and except for that once when they had the Knicks picking 1, they took Cade Cunningham, but in the rest of them, they were selecting, and again, this is just speculation, but just names to throw around at you to get the panel's opinion on what. Jaden Springer. Yeah. Jaden Springer, with the first number 1 pick, and then with the second
was number
pick,
15.
Yeah.
And the next one was 16 by Dallas right after.
Springer's nice. He's just super young. I think he just turned 18 and he's coming off the bench for Tennessee.
And nice size too.
And they have him actually number 3 top point guard behind Cunningham and Suggs.
Yeah.
And then they also had the Knicks picking Zaire Williams out of Stanford.
Yeah.
He's nice, but another power forward. I'm like,
no, he's a 3.
No, he's a 3. They got him listed as a 3. That's what they have him listed as. Let's see what his size is.
I think he's a little bit too slow for a 3.
He's 6'8".
He's kind of like Knox, where he's a tweener between a 3 and a 4.
Yeah.
I want to throw an idea at you guys.
That's my goose.
I'm one to think that with the second round picks, I'd like to look at players that have been more polished and seasoned in college, maybe juniors and seniors. They're more likely to come in and help faster than someone who has to be schooled, a one and done or even a sophomore. Yeah. I was looking at 2 seniors. I was looking at a shooting guard out of Oregon, Chris Duarte, and a center out of Iowa, believe, Luca Garza. They're both seniors. I know
the guy you're talking about. He's a beast.
Yeah, they're both perimeter shooters. Yes, you're referring to the center, right, Luca Garza?
Yeah. He will be a top 10 pick only his age. I think he's 23, so that's why he's
Yes,
sliding
he'll
out to
be
the back
24 exactly. He'll be
back end.
24 at draft time.
Back end of the first round. They're saying because of his age, but the dude can shoot.
Yeah,
And I was also
and he has
looking.
great footwork.
Do you ever see the guy Kai Soto out of the Filipino guy?
Yeah, the
7'3",
7'3",
I think
whatever.
he's
Yeah.
in the G. He's in the G League with Jalen Green and them. That guy's something. He's super young, but he's just super raw. I think they have him mock going like early to mid second round.
I think a lot of teams shy away from players that have gone deeper in college because they feel that they're closer to their ceiling. I kind of have an opposite opinion on that. I think those players that have stuck around in college have done so to polish their game better rather than listen, they're probably better at a senior than they were as a freshman. No, if they were good enough to come out as a freshman, I'm sure they would have took that bag and come out. But at least they were smart enough to stick around in college and get the minutes and skill set
Hey,
that
Goose.
they're more
Hey,
attractive.
Goose.
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna
got
go back.
something for
All
you.
right. Yeah.
I got something for you. It's gonna fix everything.
Hey, Freezy, go ahead.
Man, take all those picks and these young players and trade Towns
Trade
and
for
Bradley
who?
Beal. Colin Towns and Bradley Beal.
Oh, Freezy, you always trying to set forest fires, man.
I'm not trying to. I want to rebuild this properly. I don't want
Hey,
Yeah.
Netflix again
with
because
the
we've
number
done
with
this
the eight
so
pick in the
much.
draft, with the number 8 pick in the draft, the New York Knicks select Frank Ntilikina. Oh, I'm sorry. with the NBA draft, the New York Knicks select Kevin Knox. Oh, I'm
But
sorry. Y'all want me to do that one more time?
No,
we
No,
don't
no,
have
I'm
we
new,
don't have
hoping.
those
new,
same guys though here now.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
new
hoping.
front office though, and
Yeah.
that Frank Ntilikina was Phil Jackson got fired a week later for that pick.
So
So
what? So Freezy, run that trade by me again. You said Bradley Beal, and who was the other player?
And Carl Towns. I don't care nothing about these draft picks, man.
Carl
You
Anthony Towns and
and Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal was visibly frustrated tonight after the loss. You know what I'm saying?
Shaking his head.
And you know what? And the Knicks scored 13 points in the fourth quarter against the Utah Jazz. And y'all are telling me to wait on a 19-year-old dude that's going to take 4 years to even develop.
yo,
But it's a point guard.
but Freezy, what I'm telling you is right. So would you trade all your picks and all your young guys for Beal and Carl Anthony Towns, or would you trade all your picks? You mean your 2 second round picks and your two first round picks to go up and get Cade? Which would you do?
If I could get Cade, I would try. But
Yeah.
but I would try to get Dame Lillard first. I need listen.
I
We
love Dame Lillard. I would give up
we
the
need a
house
we
for
need a
Dame
point
Lillard.
guard, man. We
That's
need
my
to stop.
favorite
We need
player.
to stop playing around. I mean, we are messing around and kicking this can down the road and kicking it down the road and kicking it down the road.
But Freezy, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of
Why,
course.
other than Beal, why would those? Why would Minnesota give up on Cat? Why would Portland give up on Lillard?
Well, Portland Lillard, but Minnesota would because it's Minnesota.
They're
You know what
losing
I
too. He's gonna want out. They're losing.
yeah,
They're bottom of the West.
They
but
are.
that doesn't solve our point guard issue either. If we bring
Thank
Beal
you,
in.
thank you. That's we need a quarterback in the worst way.
No. What I'm saying is so the point guard issue, it makes it easier on point guards when you have a Carl Anthony Towns versus a Mitchell Robinson at center. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you give up something.
Beal can handle. Beal can ball
Yeah,
handle.
and then plus these point guards really don't have anything to work with. I mean, if think about it, if Austin Rivers had played an average night, would this game really be close?
Not only that, if Utah shot okay in the first half,
Right,
they shot terrible. It would have been a blowout by the second quarter.
right,
Freezy, I got a question for you,
right.
and I'm gonna ask you this question because I'm going somewhere with this. Were you at any point into a rebuild, or were you mostly into a quicker construction rotation build where we can get into the playoffs quicker? Were you at any point into a complete development rebuild that might take 3 years, or were you more into a trading our assets for seasoned vets that can get us into the playoffs faster? Like the trade you just proposed. Those are seasoned vets that would get us into the playoffs faster, we would hope. But we'd have to give up most of our assets to do it. Were you always in that mindset? And if not, at what point did you change your mind?
Freezy wanted to rebuild at the beginning of the year, and now we're thinking he wants to
Yeah,
change it.
but I think Goose, that's a deep
It wa-
question.
it's yeah.
Yeah, I
Because the
think
reason I ask is this. Let's say Randall, let's say Randall never balled out the way he did at the beginning of the season, which changed a lot of opinions regarding rebuild versus playoff run. Or let's say Randall was just never on the team. Let's say they traded him for additional draft picks in the offseason. And we didn't have that power forward um, primary scorer in Randall. We would have been forced at some point to play our younger guys because we would have never been without Randall. We wouldn't be in the position that we're in right now.
exactly.
Without Randall, because Randall's the only consistency that we've had until recently, until Barrett started balling out, and then we're getting some streaky games from players like Rivers or Burks or Quickly, and then they disappear for a few games. So if Randall was never there to keep our heads above water, we might have been forced to do a true development or a evaluation of what we have. Because of the fact that Randall's been playing so well, we still don't know what we have in a player like Iggy, or what we still haven't afforded Knox enough minutes to either keep him or dump him. We still haven't seen what we have in DSJ because he can't get on the court. Because at this point, most minds are changing from development over to let's make a playoff run based off of the fact that we have a player in Randall that has been playing so well.
Yeah, I think that's a deep question. My thing is, and some of the conflicts I have with some of my friends on the Knicks is that want to make certain trades, is that I want to get a chip. I don't want to get a piece that's only going to get us to a one and done in the. We'll get to the playoffs, but we're done after one round.
And screw up draft pick
So
too.
you brought us up from terrible to mediocrity, and were getting us a player, but we gave up all these assets. We made it to the playoffs, but we're still a mediocre team that can't get to the next level. And now we can't go anywhere because we just gave up all those assets. So we're still not we're not bad any longer. We're mediocre. I'm like saying, listen, it's like the scene from Shawshank. You came this far. I'm asking you to come a little further, and that little further is let's sacrifice this year. Let's play the
Well, yeah,
kids. Let the kids
yeah.
learn. But we're going to be terrible. But the draft, because we're so devoid in talent, that if we can get a couple of kids that have elite talent, whether it's a Jalen Suggs, whether it's a Jonathan Kaminga at 3, etc., then once we get, I think we're just one draft of a couple of kids away from us going the other way, or
And
maybe a hybrid.
And Stephen, that's the problem with Knicks fans. We're all about the Knicks have always done a quick fix. We want to rebuild. We're at the beginning of a rebuild. We're 20 games into a rebuild, and we're sitting at 8 and 11. And Knicks fans are like, "Oh, screw the rebuild. Trade for this guy to make the playoffs." I'm like, "No, I don't want to trade for Bradley Beal and trade assets, and we get to the second round of the playoffs and get kicked out. And I don't want to. Buy a champion, as they call it, purchase a championship like the Lakers by trading for everybody. I want to be able to, in 5 or 6 years down the line, have the Knicks lift a chip and have at least 2 or 3 of the guys in the starting roster or in the rotation that were homegrown drafted talent that are going to be there, that are going to go up into the rafters. Not guys we bought. Like, to me, the Lakers last year, they bought a championship. They signed LeBron James. They traded all their young guys to get Anthony Davis. That's not building a championship. It's buying one.
Yeah, but
Well, think
they
A
they
ring
want
is a
to.
The
ring.
Nets are trying to buy a
A
championship.
ring is a ring, man. I'll take a ring anyway.
No, I'll
Any
take a ring. I just would think it is the better way of doing it is stay the course. Let's see it, because if we could sneak into the 10th seed and we have 2 high picks in the draft, we can move up. Or as we've seen in the past couple of years, like the Pelicans nearly made the playoffs. What the basketball gods bless them with the #1 pick.
Yeah,
So
but we're
that's
cursed. I
if
don't think we'll be lucky
no,
like
no,
they
because the
were.
thing is, the reason why we're cursed is because we've tried a tank, we've done so many mistakes. If we go this year and do it properly and win games, try and win it, because what my belief is in this team was at the beginning of the year, the front office started a soft tank. If they wanted to be competitive, they would have put a better team around. They had a soft tank. Now the soft tank is they're beating expectations. So that I don't want them to go into the mindset, do you know what? We're gonna go from a rebuild to we're gonna go make the playoffs. I want them to stay the course. Let this thing play out. And as Nick G said, look, watch the basketball, enjoy it, see what happens, and then the draft next year and free agency next year.
well, think about this for a second. If we make a playoff run, we're going to make a playoff run off the back of Julius Randle, who a lot of fans think is an aberration, is not going to is that his play is sooner or later going to fall off. Only one youngster, like in Barrett, and then the rest will be journeymen because
Yeah, they're not gonna be here. It's a way.
they're not going to
It's
be here. So
yeah.
even if you do make a playoff run, how deep into the playoffs are you going to go? If we were going to make a playoff run because our youngsters have improving game after game after game after game, and then that's something that's long lasting. I'm not so much into making a playoff run and then trading our assets to plug in one piece, hoping to go deeper into the playoffs.
Yeah.
We still have a lot of answers, questions to be answered regarding our our youngsters. You're either just going to get rid of them somehow, which I don't know how you can do because if you're not showcasing them, who's going to want them for any real?
Yeah.
Who's going to give us anything
Yeah.
if you're not showcasing our youngsters? You know, they're not going to trade for Frank if Frank is not getting any of the minutes. The same goes with DSJ, and the same goes for Knox. So they're almost being buried in our bench for the sake of just them not playing.
But wouldn't you say that like being in the playoffs, like would do really good for our
For the
franchise?
year, yeah, but see,
Yes,
the thing is, the young
yes.
guys aren't
Well,
playing in the
for the youngsters,
It's short sighted though.
Yeah.
but like we go into the next year as a team that went to the playoffs. That changes the perception of our team. That
but
ruins
Mo,
our draft.
I agree with you. I agree with you. You're right. But
harder
the
for
point is
me.
that usually works when your youngsters are playing. Your youngsters are not getting playoff experience if they're sitting on the bench and they're not really contributing to that playoff run.
Yeah.
RJ's going to be playing in
Yeah,
the playoffs.
RJ's the only one though. That's
The only
right.
one.
RJ's the only one.
Mitchell also is going to get playoff experience.
Yeah,
It's
but
not,
but the thing is, the rest of the guys taking up minutes are vets on 1-year deals that aren't going to be
Yeah,
here. So when
exactly.
them guys are gone, your young guys had no playoff time. You're after ruining your draft stock, and you're gonna have to build a team again, hoping to sneak into the 8th seed again. I rather sit and lose, or say, or yeah, as Goose said, if our young guys were getting us to the playoffs, I'd be happy. But if it's the vets doing it, no. I rather sit back, stay the course, watch this team grow over the next 2 years while adding draft pieces and this thing build it. Look how like teams like the Nuggets done it. I want to build this like a small market, like because we don't have the credibility to get in these free agents. And quite frankly, over the next 2 years, there ain't no free agents worth paying. So I would rather build this thing like the Nuggets and build this thing like the Jazz, where you're going to draft well. You draft well like second rounders, late first rounders, and you draft well high up, and you build this thing brick by brick.
Yeah, and also assess. We're not giving enough players. We brought up Kevin. We brought up DSJ. They're playing so little minutes.
They might not even be in the future.
I know that, but let's give them some minutes so we're definitive. The last thing we want is to trade them away, and all of a sudden Damn,
top.
did you see what Knox is doing shooting
Yeah.
on that team over there?
And Knox has progressed. Knox is one of the highest shooting corner three guys in the league. But the problem is, he took one shot tonight. They ain't getting him in the ball. We need to get Payton needs to get out of here. And if we have to, and this isn't a move to say, oh, if we get Derrick Rose or push him to the playoffs. No, get a point guard who can pass the ball, at least run an offense to get your young guys them looks. Do you know what I notice now too? RJ's taking less shots.
Terrible. We
Randall's
need him to take more
Randall's
shots.
taking more shots, and we losing.
Yeah.
And his assist numbers are going down.
And Randall's assist numbers are going down. And I predicted, Steve, remember at the beginning of the year, everyone was saying, oh, Randall's an all-star. I predicted it sooner or later, Randall, when we started losing games, Randall was going to get frustrated, and he was going to start taking more shots. He was going to get less efficient. And it's starting to happen now. He can change it on. Randall's still a key piece. But we can't hype him up to, this all-star just yet. Because when we're winning, all is good, but when we're losing, players get frustrated, and Rondo thinks I'm the guy. So his shot numbers go up, RJ's is going down, and his assists are dropping.
Yeah. And even though we're only a quarter of the way in,
yeah,
Randall has a look on his face like we're 3/4 the way in.
Yeah.
He looks tired already, and we're only
half a season. He playing like 42 minutes tonight. How many did he play tonight? Like 40 minutes again?
He played 35.
Yeah, Randall or RJ played like 40, right?
He played 40, correct.
Yeah.
I just want to change the subject a little bit.
Sure.
In regards to Tibbs, I think our defensive rating, our good defensive rating in certain areas are keeping the critics at bay. They're really, at this point, of allowing Tibbs to avoid the hard questions. Questions like the lack of creativity and identity on the offense. And as our defense, as opponents' threes start to drop and their offensive efficiency gets better against our defense is going to start numbers are going to start to dip. You're going to start seeing criticism coming on to Tibbs, and they're going to be in the form of questions like offensive identity, the lack of playing time for our youngsters to be definitive on whether or not they're players to develop around.
And you're supposed to be a defensive team, Coach Tibbs. Why is your opponent having so many uncontested threes?
I mean, if you look at their games, the last few games, it makes you wonder how our defensive ratings are so high, right? Because if you look at the game against Utah, if you look at the game against the Trailblazers, where their perimeter shots were just dropping, it makes you wonder. It's only a matter of time before our defensive efficiency numbers start to dip. And then at that point, Tibbs and especially the front office, if they go out and trade for a Derrick Rose, they're going to start getting hard questions regarding what is it that you're trying to do here? Can you give us some type of an idea of what direction you guys are headed?
Because our defensive numbers are a mirage right now.
Because if you look at our offense, you put the starting five as it stands right now, and we're already a 5 against 4 because you can basically take Mitch out of the offense playbook right away. He's not an offensive threat in any way unless you get him a lob or offensive putback. Then the only consistent players you have at the moment are Randall and RJ. And then the third option is going to be whether or not Rivers balls out for 14 points in 10 minutes, or if Bullock balls out, or if Burks balls out. If any of those three guys are not giving you anything, you're basically running an offense of a 2-player offense right now.
Yeah.
And that is not a playoff team. No matter however you want to draw it up, that is not a playoff team.
So what do you want? Do you want to start featuring Obi Toppin and Kevin Knox more in the offense? Or what do you
no, this year for me, in my mind, this year is a wash. The only thing I want to see this year is development. I want to see consistency in our defense. I want to see our assist numbers go back up, and I want to see competitive basketball. In the future, I want to see an offensive-minded. I want to see a center. I want to bring in a center that is at least a threat on offense, where other teams are not going to just write them off as a non-threat.
Will
I
you
want to.
be will you be
I'm sorry.
happy if the Knicks make the playoffs?
Of course, I'd be happy. Um,
But you won't be
I,
happy that the veterans that there are
I would.
veterans.
No, I would be happy if the Knicks make the playoffs with the team as it is now constituted with additional contributions from the youngsters. I will not be happy with by if we make the playoffs by depleting our assets to make a big blockbuster trade. I would not be happy about that. I will be happy with contributions from our youngsters and we can make a playoff run, even if it's for the play-in. If we can make a play-in and still keep all of our assets and let the front office do their job and try to move back up into the lottery or do however they're going to do it. Maybe they have enough talent in the front office to find diamonds in the rough, like other teams have done. I'd be very happy with that. I'd be very happy with a playoff run with our youngsters contributing, as long as we don't make a blockbuster trade just to make the playoffs. So to answer your question, yes, I would.
So
If
like so what I would say is that like I think our team, like whatever it does, it's
mhm.
going to do it with the contribution of a lot of young players. Like, and whatever we do, it's gonna be like partly because of the contributions of Emmanuel Quickly, partly because of the contributions of R.J. Barrett, partly because of the contribution of Mitch Robinson. Like, like that's good enough, I think, in terms of like development. I don't think Tibbs is dropping the bag, is fumbling the bag.
um, I
Development.
agree with you. I agree with you. But in order for quickly to be consistent, his minutes are going to have to be consistent. In order for other young players to be consistent, they're going to have to get more minutes, which means Tibbs is going to have to go against his grain and stop relying so heavily on his vets by loading them up with a lot of minutes. He has to share the minutes a little bit more. Um, I don't think a player like a Knox or Quickly are going to get into any real groove unless they consistently get 20 plus minutes
A
a
game.
game.
Yeah.
You know,
Get
you
that
can't just
muscle
run a
memory.
guy out. You can't just run a guy out on the court and think he's going to
Yeah.
score. You know, it was very outlandish for anyone to think that Quickly was going to go out there and back-to-back games and score and play the way he did in Portland. Um, I think Quickly can be a big contributor, but Tibbs is gonna really have to
But
change his mindset a little bit. I
but
think.
getting to your point, Goose, I don't think he's capable. And we said this earlier. I noticed JD said it in the chat that he's been a cooler. You know, whether with Rivers tonight, whether against Portland, he did it with Burks, who was hot for a while, and we've seen him do it with Knox this year. We've seen him do it with Quickly. That he has this, this predetermined substitution rotation at times and stuff, that he's not keeping his finger on the pulse of the flow of the game and saying, you know what, we're going to keep going. The guy's hot. Let's keep feeding him. Let's keep feeding him. And, if he gets cold, then maybe we'll go to the rotation. He's so rigid that that's why I'm saying that I don't know if he's capable of doing those things.
That's what
Yeah,
happened with
he's got.
Rivers today. He took Rivers out. Rivers was boiling hot, and he took him out. I know he had 3 fouls, but I don't care if he's 3 fouls. He's hot. He's racking up threes, and he
I
took him
agree.
out, and he sat him out for at least 10 minutes. It was coming into the halftime, and then he didn't bring him back in till the end of the third quarter, and he was cold by then.
Yeah,
Tibbs seems to me to have a really quick hook
on Knox.
um, on Knox, and not only, and then tonight. I think, regardless of how hot Rivers was, you notice when he got 3 fouls in the first half, and two of those fouls were basically garbage fouls that he didn't have to commit.
Yeah,
I think he that was sort of like
a lesson to teach
I
him.
would yeah I wouldn't say I was gonna say punishment, but I wouldn't say that because Rivers is a grown man. But yeah, like a lesson, like no matter how good you're doing offensively,
If you're putting the ball in the
That's
hole on this team that is so hard for offense, you got to go. We're so bad on offense. If somebody has a hot hand, come on,
you got
Tibbs,
to
you got
stay
to
with
go.
it.
You got to stay with it.
Yeah, you got to stay with it.
So,
And by the time he put Rivers back, Rivers was just cold. He didn't
yeah,
get Rivers back there until mid third quarter or even later.
yeah.
And by then he cooled off.
Yeah, and God forbid, and OG Gregory Castillo said that, and God forbid somebody makes a defensive, he'll take that hook immediately, and the hook on if they make a defensive rotation. So, man,
It could be one of two things. He either did it as a lesson learned for Rivers, or he took him out because he saw that Rivers was the only hot commodity he had at the time, and he didn't want him to foul out and get into big foul trouble.
that's
But
fine, but
either way, he sat too long.
exactly. But at least say, you know what, we saved him at the end of the second quarter. Let him start the third to see if he still got it.
Right.
Right.
But what do? You bring in Alfred freaking Payton, who again, 21 minutes and 2 assists, which is just unacceptable for a point guard in an NBA team. So,
You know what I would do with this team, honestly, if I was the coach, and of course I'm not. I'm just a regular guy just talking. But I would insist on ball movement.
yeah,
I
they
would
are
insist
terrible.
on ball movement, which would then lead to higher assist numbers team wise as a whole, and more scoring opportunities, especially when you're in when they put the zone up against you. I
Yeah,
would insist on it. I would insist that you have to get the ball has to rotate around the court unless you have a clear open shot to take.
yeah. We
But
we we had 15 assists for the
that's not
night.
high enough.
Meaning you can have a guy who does 15 assists in a night.
Yeah.
So a whole team in 48 minutes.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, Mo, take it, man.
I
Hey,
don't. I
Fox,
don't.
Fox, are you going to get out of here?
Yeah, I'm ready to get out of here. Sorry for the technical problems, but
It happens, man.
yeah, I know. But my brothers, as always, Mo, thank you so much for coming to
To the
Knicks at Night
rescue.
Defense to the rescue, man. So, man, hey, I am one happy guy that this West Coast thing is over.
Yeah.
From multiple things. They're tired. I hate getting a game or having a game that's not over yet that we're doing our broadcast, or having 423 broadcasts that are going on the same time that we're doing it. So when we have the East Coast games, we're the only game in town after midnight, and I don't know. I'm a homer. I like that.
Yeah. I agree.
Right. Right.
Sounds
So,
Yeah, me too, man.
Seems.
hey, just a couple things. A couple shout outs to the family before I go. Brother BKL Contreras, I hope all is well. I see Charles B. Some of you know him as Chuck, but most of us know him as King Charles. He's in the chat, so I don't know if you're going to get our boy Charles in here and maybe get JD in here. He did a great job last night. I like his style, man. He's very, very. I like a guy that has that insight and he's prepared. So he's a brother of mine. So hey, fellas, I'll see you Friday night. Hopefully, our guys will get a quick flight. They'll get back on their pillows. They're home. They'll get a good sleep. We don't know if Tibbs will drive them to death in 2 bad practices, but we're playing. We're gonna see Sexton and Garland and Drummond again. And just one last thing. We were talking. Mitch had a deleted tweet, and I didn't see the tweet, but from contextually, it looks like he was unhappy with the number of touches that he's getting.
Mm.
Is this guy a head case? He's upset with the touches that he's getting? Oh my
I
God.
know. I think he's frustrated with the point guard.
I don't blame him for being frustrated with the point guard, but we're frustrated with his lack of trying to put up a damn shot. How many times have all of us seen him this year? Like, there's not a player within 10 or 15 feet of you, man. Put the shot up. We don't care. Put the shot up. So, oh, man. So, hey, I love you guys. I'll see you Friday. Freezy, I'm sure you're going to have a fantastic. Everyone, please check in. And let me just do one last thing. Please hit those like, subscribe, and remind the bells so you don't miss out on any Knicks at Night and Knicks Morning Drive broadcasts. Please share the link on your favorite social media platforms. Thank you for help growing the Blurrence Tears family to over 1,290 subscribers. 1,500, here we come. We greatly appreciate it. Shout out to the best mods on the planet, Sima Singh, my brother, Bodega Wi-Fi, my brother, and the new Knicks, my brother. I have so many brothers, more than a foster home. So, hey, I love everybody. Take care. I'll see you Friday.
All right, Steve. Have a good night.
All right.
Tough.
Man, okay.
Yeah.
So no, I don't want to wait. I was listening to the conversation, and but I don't want to wait. I think a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. I don't want to wait. I feel like my Knicks fandom. I feel like I'm double parked.
Mm-hmm.
I would trade away all these assets right now for a point guard. I would trade away all these picks right now for Lonzo Ball, Bradley Beal, and Karl Anthony Towns.
And some players, right? I mean, you're going to have to throw some players into the pot, I would imagine, to get those three.
Yeah,
Because are you referring to this year's? I'm sure you're referring to both Dallas's picks and a bunch of the second round picks we have and some of our own picks in the future.
all of it.
Wow.
All of it. I don't care anything about. I don't care anything about what happens in 2023. You know what I'm saying? I don't care anything about stuff that happens in 2022. I want to win right now, man. I'm frustrated.
Can those teams beat the Lakers, the Nets, the Clippers? Can a team led by can Karl Anthony Towns, Bradley Beal, and Julius Randle beat the Lakers?
Bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't even care. At this point, man, I watch us lose to Sacramento because our point guard can't shoot. And I was thinking if that ball had been rotated around to Bradley Beal, we would have won that game.
Yeah, but Lonzo Ball is having
I
a tough shooting year too right now.
I saw us lose to Portland by 3 when they had a week to prepare for us because our guards can't shoot. If we had Bradley Beal, we'd have beat Portland by 10. And
We've
so
seen
Knicks
a lot of
fans,
teams do that.
but Knicks fans are telling me to wait. Like, wait on what? What am I waiting for? Because, so it's not as simple as wait for Cade. It's not as simple as wait for Cade because when Cade gets here, you still got to give him 4 years to even become the player that he's gonna be. So wait 5 more years.
We never even get the number one pick, Freezy. We never even get the number one pick.
I know this.
Let me ask you a question, Freezy. If we have to wait on Cade Cunningham, give him 4 years to develop, then is he really worth the first round pick?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I mean, that's
when you look at
that would be a question for the Wizards, in my opinion, because I would already know.
We've seen a lot of teams go that route, but one of the things that made them make a deep run, is that they had a very deep bench, like the Lakers, for instance. And they had some players that they did draft that did develop for them, like a Kyle Kuzma, who was a good player off the bench. That other guy, the Caucasian guy, Caruso, right? I don't know if he was drafted, but I know he was developed by them. So they did have some assets already in place that they didn't have to get rid of, that contributed, and they also brought in veterans on minimums and veteran minimums that contributed off their bench. It's not all just AD and LeBron James and their shooting guard.
Right.
And I don't know if we would have that with the Knicks. Let's say we made that trade, we depleted our assets, and we brought in the three players you mentioned. Then what do we do about when they're not playing? Are we still going to be rolling out the players we're rolling out now? Are we still going to be rolling out the Bullocks and the Paytons and the Rivers? That you know what I mean?
I just think when you trade for veterans, when you get a bunch of veterans, when you get a bunch of veteran guys, say if you get Cat and Bill, right, to fill out your bench,
Hmm.
veterans will come if they feel like they can win a chip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got a point. Yeah.
I think we gotta like just hold off until we can get like we could get Cat when he becomes a free agent.
In 4 years?
Yeah, he's like 22, 21 now. So why don't we wait?
I agree with Mo.
Hey man, hey, so I won't lie to you. If I were in my 20s, I would be like, yo, you know what? That strategy. You know what I'm saying? But when you get in your 50s, dog, you like, hey man, I'm double parked. You know what I'm saying? I'm double parked, man. I got stuff happen right away. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait. You know what I'm saying? I'm
No, I
like,
feel you. I
yeah,
feel you.
I'm curious to see what's going to shake loose. Um, there's going to be some teams who thought they're going to make the playoffs that don't. They're going to want to dump some salaries. There's going to be some teams. There's going to be some players who thought they were going to make the playoffs and didn't, who were not going to want to stay with that team. So these players are not exposed. We don't know who they are right now. But if we stick with a development this year, keep our assets, keep our cap space,
right,
and see what shakes loose in the offseason, we might be getting the type of player you're looking to trade for might fall into our lap because a team like a Sacramento who thought they were making a playoff run one all of a sudden wants to get rid of Fox's contract, or a team like Lonzo Ball in the New Orleans, he doesn't re-sign, and we don't have to trade for him because he's going to be a restricted free agent. We might have the cap money to offer him a lucrative contract that the New Orleans won't match. So we still have options as long as we give our players a taste of what it is to be in a playoff run at least. You know what I mean?
right, right,
And if you want to deplete your assets, you don't necessarily have to do it with a trade. You can say, you know what? There's one player in the draft and one player only I'm interested. I'm willing to give you a basket of assets to move up to grab that one player. There's different routes you can take. If you go with a trade by the deadline and it doesn't work out, right? And let's say it doesn't work. There's no guarantees. If you do get those three players you're requesting and it doesn't work out, where are you then?
hey man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't even gonna. I get it. I understand where you're coming from, and it sounds smart. But I don't want to throw away a season in hopes of what's going to happen. Because
But if there's a,
if we throw away the season, we throw away the season by saying let's just wait. You know what I'm saying?
but, but
You know,
Freezy, if there's a season to throw away, this is the season. You have no fans in the arena. It's a shortened season, even if only by 10 games. So if this is a season to let fall by the wayside, this is going to be the season to do it.
It's a good point. It's a very good point. Because like I don't know. I still think us signing Alfred Payton like smelled like us trying to tank.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if it is, they need to be fired. But and it's like, how do you come in the door talking about tanking?
You can't.
How do you get a job saying I'm gonna do my worst? Nobody gets hired like that. Like, hey boss, hey. So they're like, so what can you bring to this organization? I'm gonna do my very worst from the start. I mean, think about who gets hired like that. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is that, and I know it doesn't make sense, in a long term, right? But we as you can't. Okay, so you got two picks in this year's draft, right?
Mhm.
Both of those picks are not going to be home runs, right? If we're lucky, one is a home run, and if we're unlucky, one's going to be a bust, right? So something, more than likely, both of the players that we get with those two picks are going to be okay NBA players, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are two NBA players going to help us get over the hump?
What if I was to ask?
But I feel like we need to we're due for a home run pick, like a home run pick, like a Donovan Mitchell level pick. Like I think we are, and I think in this draft we can get.
But Utah didn't even draft. Denver drafted Donovan Mitchell and traded him to Utah. Yeah, so look at Denver could have had a backcourt of Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray. Think about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's like the player that you pick, you know what I'm saying, and what you're looking for, not even guarantee that you'll get that player. If Denver knew Donovan Mitchell was going to be Spider Mitchell, they'd have kept that backcourt together. There's no way they would have traded that.
For sure.
You know?
That's why we got to keep drafting. We got to keep drafting so that we can.
Oh my god. Okay.
Let me ask you a question, Freezy. Do you think with our we get 4 total picks this year, but let's say we're speaking on our 2 first-round picks. Do you think we have an intelligent enough front office that can take those two first-round picks and plug them into Alfred Payton's spot and Reggie Bullock's spot and both be as good, if not better, than what we're getting from those 2 players that we get from Payton and Bullock this year?
Hey man, how does Obi Toppin look right now?
Come on, man.
Obi Toppin is not a bust. You can't label him a bust.
I'm not. I didn't call him a bust.
He's coming
I didn't call him a
along.
bust.
He's
All I
coming
asked was a
along.
question. I asked a question and you dodged it.
No, he looks like he's improving based on the beginning of the. Yeah, how does he look? To me, he looks like he's improving, both defensively and he's becoming a little bit more versatile in on offense. Like I had said earlier, he's making back cuts behind the defense along the baseline. He's taking more shots beneath the 15 12 foot 15-foot jump shots. So he's becoming more comfortable. I see him coming into his comfort zone a little bit more compared to the beginning of the season. He's not ready to take over.
Hey, Obi just needs some time to develop, right? That's basically what we're getting at.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to need 3-4 years though.
Huh?
I don't think he's going to need 3 or 4 years to develop.
So Obi Toppin won't hit his ceiling in 3 or 4 years, like 2 years, right?
I see you're going to see a big significant jump next year by middle of next year as long as he continues to get decent amount of minutes.
Amari Stoudemire averaged about 30 minutes in his rookie year, and he scored like 13 and 8. Like Obi's not going to get the opportunity to play that amount of minutes. We're not going to get the opportunity to see him try to be whatever we think he's going to be. We're not going to. That's just not what it is. So we can't make any value judgments on him. For us to make a value judgment on Obi Toppin is just not fair.
Oh, okay. All right. So I think that's wrong, but I'll what I'm saying, agree or disagree on that point. My was this: if we're drafting a guy and it's going to take him 3 years to develop, right? Just 3 years, So Obi will be 26 when he develops, and that's fine. I'm here because age is not a big thing to me as long as we're getting value out of that pick. But what if we wait those 3 years and he's Kevin Knox?
Do you really,
And
do
and,
you
and,
really
I, and
believe
I could
that?
have had Bradley Beal for 3 years.
What did Bradley Beal do for the Wizards when he was playing with John Wall?
I don't
And
get it.
John Wall was one of the best point guards at during those years.
I am.
And we need a point guard, right? So we have nothing close to a John Wall.
You're gonna have to give up RJ Barrett to get John Wall. I mean, to get
I'm not, and
yeah.
again, I'm not saying Obi is a bust. I think Obi's going to be a great player, right? But you got to give him time to become Obi.
I think what they need to do is not bring in some cheap $5 million a year journeyman to hold the place. They need to if you're going to bring in a Bullock or the Rivers and a Burks, let's say, you need to spend a little bit more money and bring in better players as placeholders.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying sometimes when you get a flat tire, sometimes you got to put a donut on your car until you can get a new tire. That's what I'm saying.
But you want to skip the donut and go to a nice chrome wheels, like a Bradley Beal.
I mean, I get it. I get it. But those picks that y'all talking about, those 2021 picks, I would give those to Washington right now for Bradley Beal. Right now, and
I would do I would do that because you stepped up to the plate first with like giving up everything.
Goose, I would do that tonight or
Wait,
this morning.
I would do for the 21.
wait.
If all I had to do was give Washington 21 and 23, and I get Bradley Beal,
So what?
I would do that. I would do that.
Wait, but what if they need RJ Barrett in addition to
Well, that's different. I mean, that's when then we got to talk about that. But Treasy proposed 21 and 23 for Bradley Beal. I would do that tomorrow.
I'm giving them Mitch, Obi. I'm giving them Mitch, Obi, the 2 first rounds this year, and 2 first rounds in 2023.
You see?
And
No,
when we get to the guard,
Treasy, man. For Bradley Beal?
You
at
see?
shooting guard, 6'5" from the University of Florida.
So then what are you going to have for Cat? What do you have left for Cat?
Huh?
You still want to bring Cat in, right?
Yeah, we still have 18 mil.
But that's not going to do it. That's not going to do it.
Cat has yet to like show me that he could lead a team to playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, this guy, every time he's
not going to play the defense Tibbs wants to play.
exactly.
And then as soon as I get Bradley Beal, as soon as I get Bradley Beal, if I'm Leon Rose, I'm looking at Scott Perry. I'm like, get the Timberwolves on the phone.
And all right, so let's go over everything you just gave up for Bradley Beal. You gave up Mitch, Obi, the 21-23 draft picks from Dallas, and what else?
Big dog, but you know why there were stores on everything? It's because people like to spend money. It's just what it is, man. We can't continue to hold on to this stuff in hopes of the 14 pick and the 17 pick are going to Jordan. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
I'd give up those Dallas. See, I'm in the view that we have to come out with something to show for trading Porzingis to Dallas. So we have to have something to show for that trade. And if we can get a Bradley Beal for the 21 and 23 draft picks, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. I don't know if that might do it. That might do it because he's been with Washington for a while. They're in a kind of a rebuild now. And they see, we only got so far with Beal. We can get 2 first-round picks this year. They might do it. But if you start throwing in all those other pieces, that doesn't leave you anything to fill out the rest of your team.
When you put it that way, when you put it in the context of, oh, this is what we got from the Porzingis deal. Because like if we got Bradley Beal, like trading the 2021 and 2023 picks, then we from the Porzingis deal we would have gotten Julius Randle and Bradley Beal, and that changes the whole way you look at this franchise. So
yeah, because they have to show something for that trade. They
Man,
can't just
Porzingis look-
because for the
Porzingis
forever it's going to be
trash
locked
right
as
now.
a salary dump. You know what I mean?
right.
Right now, in everyone's view, it's just a salary dump that Porzingis was added. Now, granted, he has basically turned into a perimeter shooter right now because his legs are like jelly at this point. But we would be nice to have something to show for that trade, and Bradley Beal would be a nice piece to plug in to show that that trade just wasn't a wash.
I like making moves in the context of sticking it to Dallas. Like I like that. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hey, dog, I ain't gonna lie to you. So I don't care anything about Dallas. The only thing I care about is the Knicks winning the championship. I feel like Julius Randle, Karl Anthony Towns, and Bradley Beal slides that slides. Can you imagine Julius Randle getting caught open shots, and if they double team, kicking it out to Bradley Beal, only to have RJ slash from the other side of the court? Y'all wouldn't know what to do. I swear, y'all wouldn't know what to do with yourselves, man. I'm telling you, this thing is not a pie in the sky dream. This is Karl Anthony Towns with a real power forward. Bradley Beal with a real. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Bradley Beal has had dudes. I mean, man, listen. I would hope. My only fear is that we'll face the Brooklyn Nets in the playoffs. I would much rather have Brooklyn get knocked off by somebody else, and it'll make our path easier to win a championship.
I really don't think we're winning a championship. Like we got.
We would have to fill out that team beyond the players that we're talking about starting. Because when you're making a playoff run, your bench is going to matter. Defense is going to matter.
Goose, there are so many we can get on minimum deals. We'd be turning dudes away. You know what I'm saying?
No. But aren't you talking about this year, Freezy? Are you talking about this year, or are you talking about building a team for next season? Or are you talking about making trades this year to make a playoff run this year? Or championship run this year? Are you referring to next season?
I'm talking about right now.
Okay, so all the veterans are signed already. What veterans are you going to sign that is going to want to play? You know what I mean? You're going to get them in the free agent market. You're going to get them when they get waived from other teams on the off season. There's no veterans sitting around waiting to come to the Knicks if we deplete our roster right now.
Yes. You don't forget about the post trade deadline buyout season.
Right.
And in the buyout season, we can there'll be so many vets. I'll give you an example of a guy. That would have been perfect for us if we had did it last year. Mo Harkless. So Mo Harkless on a team where all he had to do was be the eighth man would have been a perfect fit for us.
I don't know, from your mouth to Rose's ears, bro.
And trade Randall now. Wacko Knicks fanatics said trade Randall now. You see, Freezy, this talk that you're doing is influencing this.
Nah, man. You know,
this fantasy talk, it's a lot, man.
It's not fantasy, man. It's okay. So it's a little rooted in dreaming a little bit, right? But come on, dog. I mean, okay. I tell you what, don't do anything and just keep watching Elfrid Payton for the rest of the year and don't complain. I don't want to hear nothing. Just keep watching Elfrid Payton. And Nerlens Noel and don't tell me nothing. Hear it. You know what I'm saying?
I will. Honestly, I will. because I'm really fine like standing pat and waiting to see if see what happens. Like if we get a draft pick, if we have 2 lottery picks, that'll be great. If we get to the playoffs, that'll be great. I mean, I'm enjoying this season. This season is way more exciting than most seasons that we've had.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my view that if there's gonna be a season to develop, this is the season because of the fact that there's no fans in the seats and it's a shortened season. If it was different, then maybe my view would be different. But if this is almost, I won't say a throwaway, but this is an opportunity to evaluate, grow, and become consistent. I'm not sure if Tibbs is on that road to doing those 3 things with how he's handling his rotations and his minutes, but that's my view. That's my
Yeah,
view.
man. So my view and thought are wide ranging, right? Like when I jump on the Knicks morning drive in a few hours, I'll probably be like, stand pat, don't do anything. And so I might be a prisoner of the moment because I just like this trash game where this roster looked super inept and the coaching staff looked like they couldn't figure out, they couldn't punch their way out of a wet paper bag, right? So I may after I get some time to get away from this moment and maybe think back on it. I may be in a situation where they're headed when where I say don't trade for Bradley Beal. But right now,
I
man.
had mhm. I had said earlier that as our defensive efficiency numbers drop and we start to dip in the ratings in terms of our defense, Tibbs is going to start facing some hard questions from the media and from the fans and from the Twitterverse
Yep.
in how he's been handling this season.
Right.
What's saving him right now, in my view, is the fact that as a team, defensively, we're in a zone that we haven't been in years, and it's kind of squashing a lot of the criticism. But as those numbers dip, a lot of the wolves are going to come out, and they're going to be asking hard questions, like, well, they're pretty obvious questions about rotations and minutes and what plans are for the future. It's weird. No one has asked Tibbs that I can tell, why aren't you playing player X or player Y or player Z more minutes? And have him answer it truthfully for whatever it is, you know? Well, I'm not playing
Right.
Knox because his defense is not sufficient enough. Or I'm not playing Knox because all he does is go to the corner. I mean, I'm not, sooner or later, as in New York, those questions are always gonna. It's just a matter of time before those questions start being asked.
He has a lot of good grace because of this start. This is a start that no one really
Exactly.
expected.
Exactly.
But I think he deserves this good grace. We're gonna regress. I mean, I think like things are gonna. This is a bad swing, but I think as we start playing more Eastern Conference teams and playing the type of game that like Tibbs likes to play, which is grit and grind, Eastern Conference teams, we're gonna stop talking negatively, and we're gonna get back to this this mushy feeling this season is giving us. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. I think as Knicks fans, one thing we have to be careful is that we cannot fluctuate game to game on how we feel about this team. And that is not, I mean, you're going to drive yourself crazy if you love this team when they win and you hate this team when they lose. You have to do it on a scheduled basis. You have to, like I had always said before, you have the beginning of the season, you have mid-season, and you have your end of season
Right.
review of where you started to where you are now.
Yeah.
Because if you start to ebb and flow with how we play against Utah the first game versus how we played against them tonight, and then everything in between, man, your blood pressure would go off the charts. So I like to take it in sequential chunks and see. I mean, at some point, Tibbs is going to be held to his promise that he's going to review this team after 20 games. And some reporter, some brave reporter who doesn't care if he gets booted out of the locker room is going to say, well, it's been 20, 25 games, Tibbs. What do you think? What are you
Right.
going to do now? You know?
Right.
We'll see what happens.
Man, yeah. Okay. I'm really frustrated that we only scored 13 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking that could have been a like Steven has said earlier. You know, we had this long West Coast trip, and it could have been a culmination of just everything coming to a head. And they just by the fourth quarter, they're just like, oh man, I just want to go home.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Subconsciously, you know, I'm not saying they threw in the towel. I'm just saying they saw the Utah Jazz slowly making its way back, and they're like, you know.
Yeah. I feel you. I feel you.
As an
Man,
offense, we need to get our assist numbers back up to at least 25 a game. As a team, we have to get our assist numbers above 25 consistently, and Tibbs has to emphasize ball movement. It's too many times that the ball sticks. We perform better when we get ball movement, and you know, I'm not even going to bring up transitional play and picking up the tempo. He's not. That's not Tibbs. You know, he's a half court. But you know what? When you're playing half court, you can. You know, you notice how quickly gets to down the court, and the rest of the guys, he has to stop and wait for everyone to catch up.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But
Oh man,
I
it's
think
frustrating.
we were missing his buckets. Like we were missing quickly buckets. I think that was part of the margin. Like, and it's sad that we're reliant on the rookie for points.
Yeah,
Shouldn't be the case.
yeah.
But Freezy, Freezy Guzman. I'm about to head off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. Me
Yeah,
too.
man. Yeah. I was gonna end it right here, man. Cause
Yeah, Fraser, you got a big day tomorrow, bro.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna end it right here. Thanks to everybody who came through, man. Shout out to the chat. I'm gonna end it right here, man. I'll holler at y'all later.
All right,
Peace.
Mo. All right,
Peace.
all right, Fraser. Bye.
Thank you, guys.